Welcome to Buffalo football's biggest stage, Highmark Stadium, for the Section 6 Class AA Football Championships. This is the pregame show presented by A-Turf Logistics Plus, Howard Hanna Real Estate, and Western New York Media Care. And my name is Francis Beck, and I have an amazing panel next to me for this for our show. Pregame, halftime, postgame shows. Tim Chifa, Jim Craig, and then the far side, Paul Catrona. Guys, it's Lancaster and Bennett once again meeting in the final of this game. Your first thoughts on this one?
This is what we've been waiting for, right? I mean, for a few weeks. This is the rematch from last year. This is a rematch from a few weeks ago, and I think everybody kind of knows out of the big boys that these have been the two best teams, and these are programs that potentially can go all the way to Syracuse, no doubt about that. And this is what everyone was talking about. This is the one, right?
It sure is, and on the Bennett side, I mean, they've got players up and down their lineup. They've got four of them. Two of them have already committed to Division I schools, and two others have had offers for Division I schools. So we're going to see some really good football here up and down the line, and it's as we were talking before, I believe Bennett will be a team on a mission.
They are a team on a mission. Lancaster, this has become their birthright, right? To be here at this game for the last 7 years. It's actually, they've won. So 5-1 in the last 6 years. They're looking to make it, 6-1. And if they're going to go any further, they're going to have to play their very best ball. Bennett is a team with a lot of athletic is that, you know what I'm saying? Athleticism.
Athletes,
and they have some speed. Lancaster, great fundamental team. Played many big games this year alone. So we're looking forward to it. This is going to be a fabulous game.
It's not very often that a team goes to the state championship game, loses, and then you think, oh, wow, they're actually better. But, they brought back Rashad Perry. They lost their running back, Dominic Allen, but they replaced him with a transfer from Canisius. They also brought in a couple kids from Maritime, from Sweet Home, and they're just a completely athletic team. They also returned Jaden Lewis, who was the star of the playoffs last year with, I think, 7 million pick sixes or something like that. He just went on a tear.
He's a player, right?
Yeah.
He's a fun player to watch.
Yeah, this is they've been talking about this all off season. Some extra kids came in, as I mentioned, made it even better. And this team has its sights on the stadium for since really, December. And, that's been their main focus. They've faced some bumps in the road, but right now they're still on track to make it there.
Yeah, and this is the reason that they scheduled the out-of-state games, that the couple losses on the field, I guess you could say, that they had were against high-level talent in Ohio and Pennsylvania. But on the other hand, Lancaster also, they may have had the toughest local schedule out of anybody in the area. You played teams like Jamestown, Will North, Orchard Park, Bennett, Canisius. This is why you scheduled those games, to get ready for this game. So these two teams, you can't ask for more battle-tested teams than these two right here.
And last year, everybody was looking at this game between these two teams here, thinking that Bennett had the upper hand and was going to walk away with it, which some people say now. But it was a 14-10 game. It was an excellent game, and Lancaster was in it all the way. And I don't see why that they wouldn't feel that they could be competitive in this game.
We say it a lot. I don't always really mean it when I say it, but I do this time. This game is so much about the trenches. I mean, these two teams, it's so much about the trenches. Who's going to win the line of scrimmage? To beat Bennett, you have to almost play a perfect ball game, and you have to be extremely smart, take care of the football, but you have to win the line of scrimmage.
All right, so that'll do it for a pregame show. I just want to make it very clear. So Western New York Athletics right now, we can't show the game live, but we will have an audio broadcast. You'll be able to see Stu and Tom as they're calling the game. You can watch the game in its entirety tomorrow at 4 o'clock live on Western New York Athletics. But for Paul Catrona, Jim Craig, Tim Chief, I'm Francis Beck. Thank you for tuning in to the Western New York Athletics pregame show. Stu Boyer, Tom Prince next with the action.
Live from Highmark Stadium, it's deja vu all over again. It's Lancaster and Bennett for the Section 6 Class AA Championship. I'm Stu Boyer along with Tom Prince as Bennett is set to kick off. Cole Friend and Micah Harry back deep to receive the kickoff. That's one thing, Tom. What a matchup this is. Bennett has a whole bunch of guys who can run the football, and they decided to give Lancaster the ball first.
A lot of teams do that. We talk about that in a lot of broadcasts. We see that a lot of people want to make sure that they come out and have that ball in the second half so the momentum can't shift the other way. But remember, what is Bennett saying? We really believe in our defense right there. We know what we're capable of doing defensively. We come out and make that first stop and stop them on that first drive. Guess what? Now we get the ball, be able to still score first, and we get the ball to start the second half.
And the ball bounces away from Micah Harry. And he picks it up at the 10, cuts back upfield. He's got some running room, and there he goes. Micah Harry at the 50. He's got blockers at the 30, and it is a Lancaster touchdown. What a play by Micah Harry. He had trouble handling the kickoff, picked it up, took off, and took it about 90 yards for the score right off the bat. How about that?
Did you see that sideline? That sideline was going ballistic. And I'm not talking to players. It was coaches. They were jumping. They were doing everything they could possibly do to show enthusiasm. Unbelievable right there. Listen, Stu, I didn't get a chance to start things off. We got a battle of the heavyweights right here. Are you not pumped right now, Western New York? This is the game everyone's been waiting for.
Did you see when he went back? I thought he was going to get tackled between the 5 and the 10, and then I don't know how he did it, but he scooted through there, and nobody was going to catch him. The extra point is up and good, and just like that, 17 seconds into the game, Lancaster takes a 7-0 lead. Well, that's the first shot fired, and a big one. And Lancaster, well, Micah Harry, my oh my, what a great kickoff return.
And obviously we know how he can run. We know how fast he really is, right? He is just incredible when he lets those wheels go, and we're getting a chance to watch it up on the big screen right now. And what a great run right there by Micah Harry. And you can see he goes back about 5 yards to be able to go pick that up. And you see straight up the middle after he did that, and then really just ran down. Kind of the numbers is where he ran down with blockers right along his way. What a great job right there from Micah Harry. And we got ourselves a game here, folks. And that's exactly what we expected. We know right now 2 incredible coaching staffs on either side of this one with, Coach Rupp and his staff over there, and Coach McDuffie on the other side with his staff. We got 2 great teams, and no doubt this is like that battle of the heavyweights, right?
Have you ever seen back-to-back kickoff returns to see a game for a touchdown? Well, you won't see it here.
And we won't see it here, right? But Stu, I'd want to make a point of that. How many times have you and I done a game where the difference in the game is special teams?
Quite a few.
Right?
Quite a few.
And that's exactly what we're going to see here. Remember, Lancaster will go for the 1 points. Bennett won't. They're going to go for 2 here, right? So we're going to see by the time this one plays out in the end, special teams having a major impact in this game just because of that, and see which team's got to change styles right there to help the other team.
Antonio Davis III under center. And in motion goes Jameer Thomas. And Thomas gets the ball. He can absolutely fly. He's got a first down, and he's still on his feet out beyond the 40-yard line. That's a 22-yard gain for Jameer Thomas. Keep your eyes on him and don't blink because he can fly. Bennett has a whole bunch of runners who can really, really fly.
Quick tempo right here, Stu.
Yeah, no huddle. And there's a handoff to Jaden Lewis coming to the near side. Lewis turns the corner, and he's got some room to run, and he's knocked out of bounds at about the Lancaster 37-yard line. 2 plays, 2 big runs for Bennett. I can't believe it. Would you think this game will turn into a track meet?
Listen, he's got the capability. You got 2 teams that know how to run the ball and know how to run the ball well, right? And really, we haven't seen an offensive play even run by Lancaster yet. You're seeing this right now early on, but both teams showing they're here to play and they're ready to go right here.
I would imagine these 2 teams have developed quite a rivalry over the years. Bennett desperately wants another shot at a state title. Lancaster wants the same thing, but they got to get past each other. There's another handoff to Jaden Lewis, who's going to UB, and he's got a first down. Another good run there by Bennett. 3 plays, 3 first downs.
Stu, I got to talk about Jameer Thomas. I got a chance to talk to Coach McDuffie to kick off this preseason, right? And I'm sitting there talking to him, and he looks at me and he goes, Tom, I'm going to tell you right now, we got a kid that can run a 4.25 out there. He goes, I'm not even going to tell you what his name is. He goes, you just wait and see, and you're going to be able to tell me who it is. And I'll tell you, when he played in that last week against Orchard Park, you saw it and more with his athletic ability and how fast he really is.
Now Davis III goes back in shotgun, fakes the handoff to Davis, instead gives it to Darrell Hamilton, and he barrels forward for about 5 yards. It'll bring up second down.
tell you, Hamilton has just been unbelievable this year, and I think he may have had even more of an impact this season on the defensive side of the ball, right? Because if you're going to go ahead and say I'm going to double team Rashad Perry, right? Well, then guess what? You got a one-on-one matchup with another man who can absolutely show you how good he is on the defensive line.
And there's a handoff to the near side, and that is Jameer Thomas, and breaks a couple of tackles. There's a flag comes in. There's 2 flags.
That's going to be a face mask, Stu.
And so that's going to go against Lancaster. And I imagine these officials are going to do everything they can to keep this one from getting out of hand. And you're good call, Tom. Face mask. Officials for today's game. The referee is Mike Binkowski. The umpire, Joe Argentieri. The linesman, Kenneth Thrun. Line judge, Corey Brackman, and the back judge, Kevin Ryan. Mike Binkowski. I did a field hockey game once for Western New York Athletics, and I'm looking and I'm like, well, that sure looks like Mike Binkowski. And it was. He referees everything.
We've even done that sport.
Yes, we
You
have.
and I have done that sport together.
Yes, we have. 1st and 10 from the 11-yard line for Bennett. The Tigers trying to tie this one up after Micah Harry with an electrifying kickoff return for a touchdown. Davis rolls to the right, throws to Lewis. It's caught, and he's knocked out of bounds at about the 2-yard line. And had Davis thrown a second and a half quicker, that's a touchdown.
I was going to say the same thing, Stu.
Oh.
I said, I don't know what he was doing, if he was waiting to see another, person open up that was already in the end zone. But I agree. He lets that go just a little bit earlier, and you're going to see Lewis have a time to take that turn and make that corner right into the end zone and put their first touchdown and their points up on the board.
Jaden Lewis, of course, headed to the University at Buffalo in the fall, following up a great junior season with an outstanding senior season. And it looks like Bennett is going to take a timeout, and indeed they are. In the first game, Iroquois beat Pioneer, so Iroquois moves into next weekend's Far West Regionals, and the winner of this game moves into next weekend's Far West Regionals in the Rochester area. So Randolph.
Lackawanna.
Thank you.
Randolph wins for game 1.
Lackawanna number 2.
Yep.
Our game, Jamestown. Iroquois tonight, and then we have the winner of this game, and the Section 6 representatives will be all set for next weekend's Far West Regionals. As you see Steve McDuffie talking to his team, explaining perhaps how he wants them to execute this next play or next sequence.
You could tell Rashad Perry right there, too. You could always tell the hair that comes out of the back of the helmet right there is very distinct for him. And no doubt, like I said, this is a game that I really believe everybody's been waiting for. And everyone's been waiting for since last year.
Oh, no doubt.
Right?
Absolutely.
And it's 2 teams that know each other very well and are going to look to both play to their strengths. And their strengths in both cases, you could say, is the defense and true smash mouth football. It really is. A Dick Gallagher saying.
I was just going to say that. And going up the middle and being stopped just shy of the end zone. And it'll bring up, that's a first down, though. So Bennett is just shy of the goal line. Antonio Davis on the carry. First and goal now at the 1-yard line. And he will hand it off to Hamilton, and he's turned back by the Lancaster D. The ball comes out. Lancaster has it. They're going to say he was down by contact.
And he was. You saw it hit the ground, and the ball came out right after the ground contact. That was absolutely down by contact.
Somebody from Lancaster made a really good play, a touchdown-saving tackle, because he was about to turn and spin and go in, and somebody came up. I didn't see who. Somebody popped him really good. And now it'll be second and goal from the 1.
Stu, real quick, if you look, this fog is starting to settle in here a little bit.
Yep.
You wonder if it's going to have an impact. We've already seen it come through on some of the scoreboards.
And Hamilton is in for the touchdown. Thrown down after he crossed the goal line by the Lancaster player. I don't see any flags. Darius Survey tossed him to the ground, and he's not an easy man to toss to the ground. And let's take a look at the replay. And you'll see what I'm talking about here after Hamilton crosses the goal line. And he's across the goal line there, and Servey just throws him to the turf. Well, Bennett will go for 2. It's 7-6.
This is what we talked about, special teams. I want to say one thing on that last play. Great lead block by Kamari Cook on that one. That's what blew that one open.
Well, they were going to give it to Hamilton again, but the whistle blew. There's a flag on the far side. Let's see what this flag is. And Mike Binkowski says it's a false start against Bennett, so the Tigers will have to try from 5 yards further out.
Stu, early on, what we've seen from Bennett, how about the yards or the movement after the first hit, right after contact? They are really absorbing some of the hits that are happening and really taking extra yards, right? Making something happen. Think about it. Even when we saw Thomas over here with the face mask, he had already broken 2 tackles before that had happened to make something happen out on the field that happened in their favor. So, listen, that's big right now, and you can see they really are hitting hard out on that field right now.
And despite the big hits, Bennett has persevered. Now Davis rolls to the right. Still got it. Looks to throw. He spins away, gets the ball away, and it's knocked down. Good defensive play by Lancaster. Pass intended for Jaden Lewis. And Davis made quite a play, too, to keeping that one alive for a long time. Rolling to the right, spinning, and actually, I didn't think he was going to be able to get the throw away, but he did. And here's another look at it.
Is it Jack Jennings who knocks this down?
Oh, it's a good collision. And let's see, 85, is that Jack?
Yep.
Good eye, Tom. Very good. So it's 7-6 now, and Bennett will kick off. And we know what happened on the opening kickoff. Micah Harry took it all the way back. This will, if the kickoff is not returned for a touchdown, this will be Lancaster's first play from scrimmage, as Bennett answered with a scoring drive of its own after Lancaster struck on the opening kickoff.
I love what Jennings did on that, because he could have tried to intercept that and do something with it. Instead, he knocks it right down. The 2-point conversion is no good. Great job. That is what good defense looks like, especially on a 2-point conversion like that.
And the kick is much shorter. It'll go on the far side, and looks like they let it roll out of bounds. So Lancaster will have good field position to start the drive.
That's that onside kick. It went a little longer than I think they anticipated, but that's what they look to do, a lot of teams right now, and that's been to seem to be the in thing to do, right, in Western New York.
I didn't notice because I was watching the ball. Did the coverage happen to,
You can see
somebody
there was a
go
gap.
that way?
It was a gap is what it was, and they try to kick it to the gap, and with your speed, get there first, especially if somebody in the line in front of that gap doesn't come back hard, or the person that plays back doesn't really get up there and get the ball. That's where we see those turnovers happen.
And Micah Harry gets the call, and he does not have a lot of room to run, maybe a 2-yard gain. But I was just wondering, because that's a live ball on the kickoff.
Yep.
So I was wondering if they sent the coverage that way to try and beat them to the ball.
And that's what a lot of do. That's why they try to find the gap, right? They think with their speed that you can get there and get to the ball. And when I say they, it's any team that's trying to kick off believes that, and they're trying to do that. Great tackle there by Jason Guam, though, on that last play, as he gets a short gain stop for Bennett there to stop Harry.
And there's a handoff, and there's a good run out close to a first down. I think he might actually have the first down. Micah Harry on the carry, and it is a first down for the Legends. The Legends in the black uniforms, white stripe on the pants, red helmets, white stripe down the middle. Numbers, red numerals with white trim. The Bennett Tigers, the orange pants, white jerseys, black helmets or dark blue helmets, and dark blue numbers. No trim around them. And once again, they'll hand it off to Harry, and he spins away from a couple of tacklers before he takes a big hit and goes down. And it'll bring up a second down play. I think that was number 50, Xavier Goodman, on the tackle for Bennett. We'll probably hear that name called a few times today. 2nd and 7 after the 3-yard gain. Obviously, Micah Harry is going to be the workhorse here, as he has been for Lancaster. And there he goes one more time, and he's out close to the midfield stripe. Looked like Perry on that tackle.
Yeah, you watch what's going on right now in the trenches, Stu. I mean, you're going to see there's last couple plays, Perry's been getting double teamed on that. So if you are an interior defensive tackle, which he is right now, and draw the double teams, someone else is going to get a one-on-one matchup, and they've got to beat that one-on-one matchup.
Bennett does not jump off sides. That was close. Lancaster players looking to the sideline. 10 seconds on the play clock. Looks like Max Stolt might have changed that play. 2 seconds on the play clock, and they're going to call delay game. My play clock said 1 second left when they snapped it. But I think that was the back judge, said nope. Delay of game, says Mike Binkowski on Lancaster. And it'll make it a little bit longer to go for the first down, 5 yards to be exact. So it's 3rd and 10 now for the Legends. Back at their own 45-yard line. Stu Boyer and Tom Prince bringing you the Class AA championship game. As Tom mentioned, there's fog up above, and we don't know how low it's going to go, but if that keeps coming down, it could have a tremendous impact on this game. Stolt back to pass. Throws caught by Harry, and he's tackled almost immediately down at the 45-yard line.
This is going to be he knocks the quarterback down right here. This is going to be a roughing the passer.
And that's a first down. I was watching the ball. I didn't see him get hit. Stolt got hit, and that'll give Lancaster a first down.
You can see even I even went back on that one because he was coming in untouched right here. That just shows you a little bit right there, right? When they're not going to double team him and you're going to try to go one-on-one with that young man out there, get ready because it's going to he's going to get pressure on that quarterback. He's going to go out there and make a big play. It just shows how strong, how tough, how good he really is. And there's a reason he's going to Syracuse University, folks.
So he was pretty much unabated to the quarterback?
Yeah, he busted right through. And it wasn't, you could just see, I mean, he led with his hands. He didn't do anything like where it was, he went helmet to helmet. He led with his hands on that one.
So it's 1st and 10 Lancaster at the Bennett 40. The Legends get a big break there. They'll hand it off to Harry one more time, and he's got looks like a 4-yard gain, and there's another flag. Let's see which way. Is that going to be a holding penalty on Lancaster?
It came in a little bit later, right? But it's right on that line right there, so you would think. I think they're going to say it's an illegal shift.
Well, you're right on once again. You are the Swami of penalties. So that'll back Lancaster up. I'm going to talk to my referee friends and find out. They'll never answer this correctly. How many of them make actual makeup calls? Not saying that was one, just something to throw out there for you and me to discuss, because, you and I discuss everything on these games. 1st and 15 for the Legends at the Bennett 45. And once again, Harry gets the call, and there's no room to run there. Wow, that's a lot of big young men pushing back and forth. And as you have often said on many broadcasts, that's where the games are all won and lost. And that was a standoff.
Stu, and I know sometimes I probably sound like a broken record to a lot of people that hear me when we do color, but any high school game is won or lost because of those offensive and defensive lines. It really is, and it may even be even more prominent in the high school game, even at the other levels. But, I want to finish making that comment after the play.
And Stolt's pass is almost intercepted. Instead, it is caught. And I believe they lost a yard or two on that. Jaden Colon on the catch. Aaron Roseborough makes the tackle. And now it's 3rd and 17 for the Legends.
So, Stu, I was listening to Greeny on the radio, right, on ESPN radio. And he actually comes out and makes a comment and says, if you look at the line play in the trenches, and if you win that part of the game, you will win 90% of your games in the NFL. So if they're saying that there, imagine how big it is right here.
Yes, it's a great analogy. Stolt to pass. He throws and almost caught, incomplete. He couldn't quite hang on to it. Jack Harrington almost pulled that one in. Now, maybe the defensive back got a hand in there.
I think I think it went off him, and then the defensive back almost catches this. Watch.
Well, we'll find out right here. Let's see what happened. And one of those plays could have been a catch, could have been an interception. Yep. You really couldn't tell. It's a nice play by.
It looked like it had come. You saw it up on the screen. I think it came off both players, and both players had a chance to actually catch it.
And the punt will be down at about the Bennett 23-yard line. Wouldn't it be odd if if this game like suddenly turned into like last year's game, a defensive struggle, which could happen.
I mean, think about it. You got the rain. We see this fog creeping down even lower right now.
Yep.
It was before where I couldn't see the flags across the way, folks. So we're on the Bills side of the field, and if you look across, there's flags at the top. I can't see the flags. I can't tell you what they are right now. And every time you look up, you can see that fog getting lower and lower. It's about the height of where it lights up and says Highmark Stadium and everything that lights up around the rim right there of the field. That's how low it's already gotten since we started the broadcast.
There's a handoff to Jaden Lewis, trying to turn the corner on the far side, and he's got a good gain there, about 11 or 12 yards for Jaden Lewis. If you want to think fog game, think Bears-Eagles a few years back. And you were right, and that fog is slowly but surely descending lower and lower into the playing area. Not there yet. It looks like it might be getting closer and closer to reaching the top of the uprights on the goalpost. Well, they gave him a 9-yard gain, and they'll call second down and 1 for Bennett.
But what is interesting is this rain has stopped. It's not raining out there right now.
And they'll hand that one to Hamilton, and he bursts through there, and he's got a first down. And I don't think Darrell Hamilton's someone you want to tackle. He's 260 pounds, and he's also a defensive lineman and has 10 sacks on the season. So he is a key part of the Bennett Tigers team.
And Stu, he runs like he's about 205, right? I mean, he runs that he's that quick at times. So you match that strength with his quickness. He actually had a chance to have a big interception that he returned for a touchdown against Orchard Park. And you saw it. He went up, showed his athletic ability. It took that sucker right into the end zone and showed that speed right there, what he was capable of doing.
One of the many Bennett players very capable of taking it to the house. 1st and 10 from the 36 for the Tigers. Antonio Davis III back to pass. He's got time. He throws down the near sideline intended for Jaden Lewis. Overthrown out of bounds, and it'll bring up second down.
That's a matchup you want to see, especially when Jameer Thomas will come out here to the outside. Look for a one-on-one matchup right here to see if they can utilize his speed to be able to throw the ball to him, especially the deep ball right there. A streak down that sideline could be something big that we see happen here for Bennett. And like we said, we're seeing probably more throwing today than we've seen all day, and it's because it's not raining out there right now.
Right. First game played in a downpour, Iroquois and Pioneer. 2nd and 10. And hand off to the second man through there, and Lancaster is stout defensively. Nowhere to run for Noah McDuffie. And it'll bring up 3rd and 9, so he got a 1-yard gain.
But turns it into a passing down, and that's what Lancaster wants to do, right? They don't want to give them that short opportunities so that they can go either way with a run or a pass. Now you're looking and you're thinking this is a pass play right here.
Davis III in the shotgun. Lancaster shows blitz. They come a little bit, and that's a catch by Jaden Lewis, who's got room down the sideline at the 30, at the 20. That is a Bennett touchdown. Jaden Lewis hauls it in and goes 63 yards for the touchdown, and Bennett takes the lead 12-7.
Stu, if you're going to blitz like you did, that's going to be one-on-one matchups. And when you got Thomas and Lewis and multiple guys that can go out there and catch the ball, you're going to get a one-on-one matchup, and they got the matchup they wanted right there. Lewis takes it to the house.
And we're going to have a replay here. Great yards after the catch. Good stiff arm down the sidelines, and they're not going to catch him. And then he gets a little block there from Adam Nunez. And now Bennett will once again go for 2. And Hamilton is in the backfield. And this time it's Davis III, looks to throw, and he's going to run, and he's going to be brought down shy of the goal line, it looked like. And Lancaster will stop him. And once again, Tom, when he was rolling to the right, I saw a Bennett player spin and get wide open, but he was running the opposite direction. That's probably why he didn't see him.
And very close to a horse collar on
Yeah,
that one.
it
I don't
sure
know if you
was.
saw that on the very end right there. It was very close to that. In fact, we're going to see it on the screen right here. I know that, but I wanted to just take another. Oh, no, this
That's
is the
the touchdown.
So, what a great job right there by Bennett with the answer. But we talk about this, right? Special teams again. Think about this right now. 7 points all come on special teams right here. The 2 times for 2-point conversions right here don't get converted. That's going to be big, especially if they don't keep scoring and not converting any of those.
Well, and let me flip it around a little bit. Bennett's had 2 possessions, and they've scored both times. And
that's another thing right
relatively
there, right?
easy.
Yep.
I don't want to say easy.
Yeah,
they earned them, but
methodical drive
yes.
on the first one,
Yes.
and there's the big
Big
play
play.
opportunity that you can see they're capable of. So you saw them score in 2 different ways right there, which that is probably the more glaring thing that you talk about, just because it's just showing is it doesn't matter the type of game that we're going to see, we're ready to play no matter what type it is.
So Lewis kicks it off. It bounces. It'll be picked up by Cole Friend, and he's got some running room. And Bennett finally hauls him down at the Bennett 48-yard line. And Lancaster gets, that was Jaden Cologne. It was 9, not 4. Great return there all the way to the Bennett 48-yard line. And he very nearly broke that one for our second kickoff return for a touchdown. And Lancaster's great field position, and the Legends need to do something with it.
That was Lewis on the tackle there. I don't know if you saw that. So he
I
kicked
did.
it and then also made the tackle.
As that fog continues to get a little bit lower. And now it's 1st and 10 for the Legends. Trailing 12-7. It's a handoff to Micah Harry, and he gets about 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down for Lancaster. This is actually just the second Lancaster possession.
Yeah.
They scored on the opening kickoff. Micah Harry taking it all the way back. And it's 2nd and 7. We're under a minute and a half to go in what has been a very entertaining and exciting first quarter here on Western New York Athletics.
But Lancaster's doing what they want too, right? They want methodical. They want to keep the ball out of the hands of the Bennett offense.
And one more time, they'll give it to Harry, and he'll gain a yard, no more than 2 at the most, and it'll bring up 3rd down.
That was Perry actually on the tackle on that one.
Bennett has a great combination of size and speed. They've got everything.
I'd even add size, strength, and speed, right?
Yes.
Because
yes.
it's not just a big guy clogging up.
Yes.
It's just how strong they really are and physical they are.
Stolt to pass. It's caught for a 1st down on the near side. And Lancaster will move the ball. Matt Bauer on the reception. And the chains will move as we're in the final 40 seconds of the first half.
Folks, we got a game. Yeah. I mean, we got exactly what we wanted right here in this AA matchup, and we got ourselves a great game right here. You can see here's Lancaster methodically moving the ball.
Stolt. Ooh, almost had Bennett to jump. Almost had him to jump. No flags thrown. Final seconds of the first quarter. 10 seconds on the play clock. Max Stolt looking at his wrist. And now he takes the shotgun snap. And he's going to keep it himself. He's at the 30 and brought down at about the 26 or 27-yard line. So Max Stolt getting in on the act. And that will bring the first quarter to a close. Let's see, was there a flag on that play? I see officials getting together. No, that's just the end of the first quarter. After one quarter, the Bennett Tigers lead the Lancaster Legends 12-7 in the Section 6 Class AA Final. You are watching Western New York Athletics. We are back at Highmark Stadium after one quarter of the Class AA Final. Bennett leads Lancaster 12-7. Lancaster on the move. I'm Stu Boyer. He's Tom Prince, and we've got ourselves a football game.
Stu, I'd like to say something you don't mind right here. I want to give our condolences out to a very close friend of ours, someone who is as important to us right now in Western New York athletics. He's the man that is giving us these amazing close-up shots. It's Mario Hall. Mario Hall lost his grandmother today, this morning, and he wanted to be here today. Not for us, for these kids that are out here that he knew how important it is because of the shots he brings and the smiles and all those faces he brings inside those huddles. He is absolutely amazing. Mario, we are here for you. You're our friend. You're our family. You're everything. Your thoughts and prayers are with us. We'll do anything we can to help out right there. And just know, Mario, you got a whole family and a team right here that's behind you to support you.
Very well said. We await the start of the second quarter. Both teams huddled. There's Lancaster at the 50 and Bennett at the 40 on the far side. Lancaster on the near side, what would be the Bills side of the field. Bennett on the far side. Both these teams have been here before. Lancaster was the 7th straight year they're here. I remember I remember the one game. I think it was a Far West Regional game against Victor when LG Castillo was playing for Lancaster. Every time Lancaster scored, Victor answered because Lancaster kept turning the ball over.
I remember that. Yes,
turned it over 7 times. They scored 7 times,
and we're still in that game. Still had every chance to win it.
Yes, it was like 48-47. That was a great game. Castillo had a kickoff return for a touchdown. There's the handoff to Harry and a short gain.
And to get there, I don't remember. There was some team they beat to get to that game. I can't remember who it is, Stu, though. I know, had to be somebody halfway decent, right?
Yes.
We're teasing, folks. It was my son in Orchard Park. My oldest, Zachary, was the one that they won their first one in there, and it was my oldest, Zachary, who was playing out in the field in that game.
And there's another handoff to Henry. These two teams literally slugging it out. He's close to a first down. Lancaster says they've got it. We'll see what Mike Binkowski says because his opinion really matters. Let's see. Mike Binkowski's calling for the change. They'll measure this one. The largest class, Class AA, and these are two Western New York heavyweights. Bennett, of course, making it all the way to the championship game last year for New York State at the Carrier Dome in Syracuse. They lost to Carmel. They stretch out the chains and just a little bit short. Mike Binkowski holds up his hands and indicates about 6 inches shy, and that will make it.
And that Carmel team that won the state champion is still alive from what we've been told inside the playoffs at this point. So they are still alive in this one. We thought one of the teams to watch out for in the Section 5 area, we thought Victor was going to be a team that could absolutely came out. McQuaid beats them to get to their finals right here. So we're going to see, like I said, we're going to see some great matchups next week.
4th and 1, they hand it to Harry, and he scoots through there, and I think he just got it. Good run by Micah Harry. And I thought he had the first down, and he does. 1st and 10, Lancaster. I don't think there was ever a doubt that they were going to give the ball to Harry. 1st and 10 at the Bennett 26-yard line. Excuse me, at the 24. And we have a Legends player running off the field without his helmet, probably for a helmet repair. Lancaster, 2 wide receivers to the bottom of your screen. Stolt takes the shotgun snap, and that play did not work real well. No gain. No gain there, or maybe even a 1-yard loss. Chris Gill on the carry for the Legends. Bring up second down, a 2-yard loss, 2nd and 12 for the Legends from the 26. Early in the second quarter, Bennett leads this one 12-7. An exhilarating start. Micah Harry took the opening kickoff back for a touchdown for Lancaster. And there goes Harry one more time. Excuse me, that's Gill. And he's got a short gain. He'll bring up third down.
I was trying to see real quick if they had posted any of the scores to see if we can get everybody a score out there. And unfortunately, the site we had it for the last one hasn't posted them yet. So I was trying to see maybe we can steal and get some scores for us is what I was trying to look up.
You mean from Section 5?
Yeah, so we can see some of the matchups that we could have told everybody that was coming their way.
So 3rd and 10 for the Legends at the 24-yard line of the Bennett Tigers. And we get whistles. And a timeout is taken by Lancaster. And we'll take a timeout. 9:39 to play, second quarter. Bennett 12, Lancaster 7. You're watching high school football on Western New York Athletics. Want to remind everybody, coming up at halftime, we'll hear from our crew at the halftime show. Francis Beck, Tim Chifa, Jim Craig, and Paul Catrona will have their halftime observations of what happened in the first half, and they'll look ahead to the second half. 3rd and 10 for the Legends after that timeout.
And they've been doing a great job still.
Yes, they
I'll tell
have.
you, they really have. They've nailed some of their observations. They really have. And you got to look to see if Paul Catrona's going to have his visual going, right? We want a visual, Paul.
Stolt back to pass. Now he runs to the near side. He throws toward the end zone, incomplete. Intended for Jaden Colon, and he couldn't haul that one in. And even if he did, I think he was out of bounds, and that'll bring up 4th and 10.
Showing the replay right now.
You see Stolt coming to the near side, and yeah, if he caught it, he would have been out of bounds anyway. So good defense there by Bennett, and we'll see what Lancaster does here.
But I'll tell you, the passing game's been open so far. You've seen guys that have been open for opportunities for Lancaster to try to make some complete passes here.
Stolt takes the snap, back to pass. Comes to the near side, running, and he throws it toward the end zone. Incomplete, knocked down by the defense, intended for Cologne, and Bennett will take over on downs, and this suddenly becomes a pretty big series for Lancaster, considering, as we'll see the replay.
Watch Hamilton on this. He's going stride for stride with the quarterback. Do you see that still?
Yes.
Stride for stride. The big man, you said is listed at 260, goes right there stride for stride with the quarterback. Unbelievable the speed he possesses with that size.
And Noah McDuffie in on that pass breakup. And Hamilton, number 13 for Bennett, like I said, listed at 260 pounds. And you're right, stride for stride with Max Stolt, the Lancaster quarterback. And suddenly, Tom, a big series here for Lancaster, down only by 1 score, but Bennett has moved the ball consistently. And now the Tigers are attacking the goal to our right. And we get a whistle. And Bennett will take a timeout, and we'll take another timeout. 12-7 Bennett, 9:20 to play in the second quarter. You're watching as you see Steve McDuffie delivering a strong message to his team. You're watching high school football on Western New York Athletics. Well, now Bennett, 1st and 10 at their own 24-yard line after stopping Lancaster on downs.
1st and 10 at the 24.
Bennett has been able to run it and throw it. And that's a run and coming to the near side. And Jaden Lewis is brought down. Good tackle there as Lancaster on 1st down stands firm. Jaden Lewis brought down by Sam Judas of the Legends. And Tom, now, have you heard anything about any of these Section 5 teams that the Section 6 winners will be playing? Obviously, they're all really good teams. Is there one?
Well, no, again, it's all stuff right now that you're just seeing is by records and how things have played out, right? So we haven't heard a lot except for what we've seen through records at this point.
2nd and 9 after the 1-yard gain. And there's the handoff to Thomas, and he's got some running room. He created some running room, stays on his feet, and that's a great run there. Great balance by Jameer Thomas. He's out to about the 38-yard line for a Bennett 1st down. Watch him stay on his feet here. Gets a good block, and then gets tripped up and manages to get another 3 yards after getting tripped up.
And I'll tell you, if he doesn't get tripped up, you could just imagine what happens then, because then you see that 4.2 speed take off because he was going right down the sideline after that one.
1st and 10 at the 38-yard line for the Tigers. So once again, Bennett is moving the football. Aaron Roseborough at the bottom of your screen wearing number 4. 3 in the backfield. And the handoff, and good defense by Lancaster. Nowhere for Noah McDuffie to run. Good D by the Legends. Judas again in on the tackle. And I believe Cole Friend was in. Cole Friend had a hand in that tackle as well. And the 1-yard loss will bring up 2nd down and 11 for the Tigers.
Yeah, I thought Friend was in there first, too. He was the first one to get in there quick. Comes off, great penetration right there for Lancaster. And that's probably one of the first big losses we've seen for a play offensively for Bennett, and a great stop there by Lancaster. You're going to see Lancaster does a great job as a coaching staff to make in-game adjustments.
And Davis looks to pass. He throws it to Thomas, and it goes off his fingertips, and it's incomplete on the far side. I don't think he had any room to run had he caught the ball. It's just he's so dangerous had he caught it. I mean,
we've been watching him break tackles right there, using his speed, a multitude of things. But this is a big 3rd down right here. This is where Lancaster's trying to get that first stop, right? Can we somehow get the momentum back on our side? Because remember, Bennett's going to get the ball at the end of this half right here. So you want to make sure that you've got some sort of momentum going into halftime here if you're Lancaster. While Bennett wants to say we want to have that lead in our possession.
Davis running to the far side. He does get the pass away. It's incomplete, out of bounds, intended for Jaden Lewis. Good defense by Lancaster, but there's a flag on the play. Let's see which way. Holding against Bennett. So they're going to back him up, make it even further, or they're going to decline that? It'll be 4th and 11 to 4th and 21.
Yeah, I think
it's declined.
Yep, so you go to 4th down instead of it being 3rd and 21 right there. But did you see Judas right now showing his speed the other side as you saw him going down, chasing down the quarterback? I can't believe the bigs in this game that we're seeing the speed possessed both sides of the ball, right? Both deserve credit for that one right there.
Jaden Cologne back deep for the Bennett punt. And here's another special teams play. And how many times have you said it, Tom? Special teams, huge. And the snap is away, almost blocked. Maybe they got a piece of that. It's going to take a good bounce for Bennett, and it'll roll inside the Lancaster 30-yard line all the way down to the 25-yard line. Well, Lancaster came so close to blocking that, and there was no return. Good punt.
And again, another special teams win there for Lancaster, right? And they are always good at coming in with penetration to get a block. They read film real well, and there's things that they see real well on film that they really bring out to the field, especially when it comes to special teams.
They just missed. Yeah, I was expecting to say it was so close. Yeah. I was expecting.
I agree with you. I think it got tipped right there because the way that it went over. Once it left his foot, it looked like there was some sort of tip that happened.
Stolt with Henry in the backfield, one wide receiver at the bottom of your screen. And running to the right is Cologne. He took the direct snap, and he's got about 7 or 8 yards.
Was that Cologne or is that Friend?
Number 9, I believe. It's hard to see the 9 and the 4. That was a 9.
Yeah.
I finally figured out that it was most likely number 9 because they only list Friend as a defensive lineman.
Yeah, you're right. It is very tough.
In fact, on the opening kickoff.
You're right, it is a 9. I see it now.
Well, on the opening kickoff, I said it was Friend, but it was really Cologne because we both thought it was a 4. 2nd and 2. Cologne takes the direct snap, and he's got some room to run. He's still going strong at the 50, at the 40, and brought down by, the ball comes out. And Bennett has the football. Are they going to say it? Yeah, Bennett football. The ball came out. Noah McDuffie, I think, made the tackle, forced the fumble. Let's look at the replay. Great run by Cologne. There's McDuffie, number 9. McDuffie brings him down and looked like Damari Clemens just stole the ball right out of his hands. I didn't see it come out. Did you?
I didn't see it come out till after he hit the ground, to be flat honest with you.
So McDuffie does force the fumble. This is where we need the reverse angle here. It's a little far downfield. I really couldn't tell, but it's a great play by Bennett. And from the Lancaster standpoint, a disastrous turnover.
I always look at, even if we think whether it was the ground or not, you will usually see a reaction from the other side of the field, and we didn't see that reaction, which is telling me that's got to be a fumble right there.
Right. And there's a short gain by McDuffie for Bennett. Sure, we'll take a Tim Gardner. Go ahead, Tim. Tim is asking us if we want to see it again, and we say yes. So you see the run, McDuffie chasing him. Oh, he flipped it up in the air is what it looked like, and it landed right in Clemens' hands. He popped it out. That's a great play by McDuffie and Clemens. Finally, on the third time, I actually saw it.
What a producer, man.
Yeah, he's great.
He is incredible, is he, right? We get a chance to see it again, get the right call. Tim Gardner, thank you again. And what about these graphics? Are they incredible?
Yes, and there's a good hard run for Bennett. And still short of the first down and bring up third down. You notice it took me 3 times to actually see what happened.
That's all right, but I mean, you wanted to be able to see to get it right. But look, he's got a watermark right now inside our kind of what am I thinking here? I don't want to say the scores because it's just where the second and 8 is, what quarter it is, time left, in that part of the scoreboard right there.
Scoreboard, I guess.
So, but a great job right there with the graphics. He's just really done, and he's done an incredible job all season for us
he has.
When it comes to the graphics.
3rd and 3. There's the handoff to McDuffie, and he's got the first down, and he's into Lancaster territory as Bennett continues to have success running the ball.
Think about this. We've seen 4 running backs already for Bennett, and every one of them have a positive impact.
Yes, they do.
Think about that. Like, how much as a coach, how hard is that as a coach sometimes to get all your guys that can run the ball necessary touches inside of a game?
And how much does that wear down the defense? They're fresh all the time.
And that's another thing, right? You just have guys that could just keep going in at 100%. That's the second aspect of it. But it really is. And you haven't heard a peep out of anybody complaining, I don't get enough touches, I don't get it like that.
Right.
It just shows the talent right there when it comes to running the ball on the other side.
So Bennett takes another timeout, and they'll once again huddle around Coach McDuffie, who seems to be in a much less aggravated mood than the last time we had a shot of the Bennett huddle.
Well, remember, you don't want to use timeouts up. And, that was a timeout that I'm
Right.
sure he didn't want to use at that point.
Right, and now there's the Lancaster huddle. As you get a good look at Mike Sell, number 5, Cole Friend, number 4. And there's Carlson with the, I guess, what do you call that, a Brian Bosworth haircut?
Well, when they get to the stadium, the playoffs, a lot of them go with the Mohawks.
Right.
So they go with those blonde Mohawk haircuts, and Lancaster's been known to do that for years right now. And you can see the players have absolutely come out and done it again to keep that tradition alive at Lancaster.
You know, the Williamsville North boys soccer team, you dye your hair blonde once you make the varsity. You can't do it if you're on the JV. Got to earn your stripes.
Huh?
And that's a cool thing about high school sports. Pretty cool for Lancaster or whatever school's doing it.
I think traditions are amazing, period.
Yeah, I do too.
And I want to talk about one over at Lancaster here in a moment.
1st and 10 for the Legends. Davis throws. What a catch. And there goes Thomas, and he's down inside the 20. 1st and 10, Bennett at the Lancaster 18-yard line. Here's another look at that. It's a great throw and catch here. 29-yard gain right on the money. He reached up and grabbed it, pulled it out of the air. Unfortunately for Lancaster, they didn't let him get his legs too free because he'd have been gone.
I'll tell you, Antonio Davis the last couple of weeks has really impressed me at the quarterback position, thrown some great balls, and we're seeing it again here tonight. He really has hit his guys, and some of them in stride to be able to use their speed and use their athletic ability.
And there's a handoff and a very short gain. And nowhere really for another speedster, Shamir Land, to run.
We wanted to talk about just a quick thing over at Lancaster when we talk about this thing of traditions. How about going to a football game at Lancaster and seeing them sing their school song?
Yeah, that's very cool.
Oh, and everybody knows it,
Yes.
right? Everybody can sing it. And it's not... It's really something they take a lot of pride in right there, and it just is amazing to listen to. It is just an incredible atmosphere to go to a Lancaster football game.
You're right, ball's on the ground, and they will fall on it. Davis will. I wonder how many people actually know the words and the tune to their alma mater, be it high school or college. I can tell you I'm 0 for 2. I'm sorry to say.
I've yet to... again, have you ever been to another game
No.
in Western New York that you've even heard it?
Well, the only time you'll see it, I think, say at the end of the UB basketball game, the players will all gone down to one end and they'll play the UB song. But that's it. That's not high school.
Right. And you can see the entire student section do it for them.
Yep, 3rd and 18 from the 27. Davis to pass. He throws toward the end zone. Touchdown! Jaden Lewis, and Bennett goes out to an 18-7 lead. A 27-yard connection from Davis to Jaden Lewis. It's Lewis's 2nd touchdown of the game.
In stride.
Yeah.
He does it in stride again. This is another great throw right here.
Yes, it is. He dropped that in there. Beautifully done. And he split 2 Lancaster defenders, and it's a touchdown for Bennett.
This is the one aspect Bennett hasn't been successful yet, right? The special teams aspect to put points up on the board. This is a big 2-point conversion right here.
Hamilton in the backfield, and Davis will throw. And it's incomplete, intended for Jameer Thomas. So Bennett takes an 18-7 lead. What a gorgeous play that was. The pass, the catch. That was just fun to watch. And Lancaster needs to respond. The Legends need some points here before the end of this half.
Yeah, especially because, in 2 minutes, that means then Bennett gets the ball back again, right?
Yep.
So, remember that conversation I talked to you about with Coach McDuffie?
Yes.
Before the
Yeah,
end?
well, look,
Right?
it's come to
All
true.
right. Well, here's the other part he said. He said the one thing we needed to get better at from last year to this year
Was passing?
was passing the ball.
So-
and watch out, we're going to pass this year, and we're going to do it effectively. Boy, he was 2 for 2 right there in what he did in that pregame and what to expect for the season. He really was dead on in what he knew he was working on inside that preseason, inside the summer, inside everything to prepare for the season. No doubt Coach McDuffie said this is what we're going to prepare for and have come out and delivered.
He was 2 for 2, and you were holding back on us. You only told us the first part.
Because I couldn't
I'm
give it
just
all
kidding.
early on in the broadcast, right? I get to save something there.
Jaden Lewis, and it's a bouncing kick, and if that ball came out, it was a very difficult kick to handle on purpose, but Lancaster falls on it and coming out of the pile with the football. That looked like might have been Cole Friend, number 4. And it'll be Lancaster ball, 1st and 10 at their own 44-yard line. Lancaster down 18-7. Jaden Lewis with 2 touchdowns and Antonio Davis III 2 touchdown passes. One a 63-yarder, the other a 27-yarder. Darrell Hamilton had the other touchdown. So 1st and 10 Lancaster at their own 44. Legends need some points here. Now Stolt goes back to pass. He had the last series off. He throws, and it's caught on the near side by Harry, and he's immediately knocked out of bounds. And right about the line of scrimmage, Kamari Cook knocked him out of bounds. And it'll be 2nd down.
And he gains a yard, it looks like, on the play. All that for a yard, you can see there. But you saw Perry with his penetration again into the backfield. It was a QB knockdown on that one right there. And again, the defense coming up big right here for Bennett.
I want to remind everybody about the Western New York Athletics halftime show. Francis Beck, Tim Chifa, Jim Craig, and Paul Catrona will have their observations coming up at halftime and look ahead to the second half. Pass to Cologne is caught, gets away from one tackler, and he's a little short of the 1st down. And we're going to have a timeout on the field taken by Lancaster. Minute and a half to go in the half.
So Western New York, we understand you want to see the game and wish you were actually seen there on the field, and you don't want to see me or Stu out there. You want to see the game. We get it. Unfortunately, due to contracts, we can't. So we're trying to give you something, at least that you'd be able to hear this and know what's going on in the game. But no, we are recording, and this will be seen in its entirety tomorrow at 4 p.m. so that you can watch this game and be able to see the video on that if you didn't get a chance to see it so far.
And now the teams are huddled around their coaches. Lancaster down 18-7. They led 7-0 before they even ran a play from scrimmage because Micah Harry took the opening kickoff back for a touchdown. And now the Legends need a spark here. Bennett has moved the ball pretty much at will, both on the ground and in the air. And Lancaster has moved the ball somewhat, but they've been
That's what
unable to
say.
score.
They've been able to move the ball. They just haven't been able to finish the drive off into the end zone besides, of course, the original kickoff.
And now the pass is caught on the near side. And it is caught by Jack Harrington, but he stayed in bounds. It's a 1st down for Lancaster. A 5-yard gain.
And Harrington, we're going to be talking about him on the basketball court here soon. Well, what a player, because he takes that football mentality to the basketball court. He really does. And I don't mean that in a negative way.
No, I know.
He is strong. He goes after the rebounds. He'll take on any defender there is out there. He'll take on, one-on-one and absolutely be effective. He is fun to also watch on the basketball court.
Well, I wonder how much Lancaster basketball will change without John Otto, who resigned after last season.
So we'll see. One of many different storylines I'm sure we'll be talking about, as that season starts.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to that and still enjoying this, obviously.
But remember, after tonight, then we all become, cheerleaders of all the teams of Section 6.
Absolutely.
That's what I love,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
And then we can go out. We want every one of those to go on the march for the state championships.
Absolutely. Back to pass, Stolt. He's got time. He throws. It's caught. And coming to the near side is Harry. And he's inside. He's about to down at the 20-yard line. And Goodman brings him down. So Carey with a good catch and run there. Xavier Goodman brought him down. As you see right here. No, it wasn't. I'm sorry. It was Jameer Thomas on the tackle. Goodman came up to help finish it off. 1st and 10 at the 20 for the Legends. Once again, Stolt to pass. Throws to Harry, and it's incomplete. He bombled it and dropped it. And may not be a bad thing for Lancaster as the clock will stop.
You see, Lancaster feels they found something here by the pass, right? That seems to be their most effective play so far here in the first half, as they really, if they haven't connected, have seen open men even on the ones they haven't connected on.
2nd and 10 for the Legends. Stolt claps his hands to Harry, and he dropped it. Micah Harry dropped that one. He had a little bit of running room. Maybe he started looking upfield before he caught it.
You don't see that happen often, right?
No, very unusual, and even more unusual to see it happen on consecutive plays.
You know, you look at it here. I mean, we've got potential Conley Cup finalists all over this field, right?
Yes, and at some point, Tom, before I elaborate on that point, at some point Lancaster's got to take a crack at the end zone.
Yeah.
Stolt back to pass. He throws toward the end zone, and I think the pass was tipped or knocked down.
Perry hit it. Perry hit it. Yeah, he got his hand in down there on it.
So it's 4th down for the Legends. Well, you'd have to consider Perry and Harry among those. Connolly Cup, maybe Jaden Lewis, finalists.
Those are probably, I would think, 3 of the big names you're
I
going
would
to
think
say.
so, right? As there's the replay on the scoreboard. And I couldn't see Perry's hand, but I'm sure you were right.
But you saw the way he came around. I know the ref was blocking him on that view, but he absolutely got. So we're going to see a big field goal attempt right here.
Converse on to try the field goal for Lancaster. The kick is up and good. It just snuck over the crossbar. I thought it was short, but it made it. Cannon Converse adds a huge 3 points for Lancaster, and it's 18-10 with 23 seconds to go in the half. How big was that?
It's big because it makes it a one-possession game right here, right? So, again, special teams coming up big for Lancaster, and special teams right now is the difference why this is a one-score game.
Right. Bennett does not have a kicker, so they go for it on every time they score, they go for 2. The first year New York State had the state championships. I went to the Carrier Dome, was working for Channel 2. Williamsville South made the championship game. They had a player named John Melanson. I think he was a running back. South, it was like 38-25 or 38-20, whatever. It was a high-scoring game. South made every 2-point conversion except the last one and lost the game because they couldn't make it. It was a great game, though, and the kickoff is taken by Aaron Roseborough, and he gets it out to about the 30-yard line, where Bennett will have it 1st and 10 with 18 seconds remaining on the clock, actually 17.
Yeah, I mean, that's really, you think about it, is the difference in the game.
Yeah, you're right.
Every point for Lancaster has been special teams. Every point.
Yes.
Right? And right now, Bennett has left 6 points off the board right there for themselves.
Yep.
I mean, in essence, this could easily be a 24-10 game.
Right.
You know, when you look at it. And then now you're talking about that's a 2-touchdown lead right there. Those 3 right there make this and keep it a one-possession game.
Or if they had a kicker, the worst it could be would be 21-10.
But still 2 possession at least.
Yes, correct. And they will just kneel it down, and that will take us to halftime. Stay tuned for our halftime show with Francis Beck, Tim Chifa, Jim Craig, and Paul Catrona. At halftime, the Bennett Tigers lead the Lancaster Legends 18-10, and you are watching high school football on Western New York Athletics.
Your score after 2 quarters. Bennett, 18.
That's great stuff I thought.
All right, guys, knock them dead again.
Huh?
More graphics. I love it.
You don't get out right there with you, brother. You and I were on the same wavelength.
Ladies and gentlemen, Section 6 sponsors your friendly marathon. The passing of Chuck Emo. Chuck was one of the original founders of Section 6 Football Federation. Along with his dear
What?
Chuck Emo.
He used to be in charge of Section 6 football. What? Yeah, he's like, he was maybe for us. I think so. What, how much time? Minutes. Alright. Heidi, am I on? Do I need to move in? What? Okay.
It would be difficult to find a more humble man. He dedicated so much time and contributed in so many ways to the success of Section 6, but refused to accept any credit, nor did he look for recognition. Chuck set the bar for all of us. He will always be remembered as a founder and a friend. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to join us in the remembrance of Chuck Amo. At this time, we ask that you direct your attention to the field for a performance from the Bennett Tigers cheerleaders.
Welcome back to Highmark Stadium. This is the Section 6 Class AA Championship Game halftime show presented by A-Turf, Western New York Media Care, Howard Hanna Real Estate, and Logistics Plus. I'm joined by my fantastic panel, Paul Catrona, Jim Craig, Tim Chifa. It's 18-10 at the half. Quick scoring recap. Things got started off very quickly. Micah Harry returns the opening kickoff for a touchdown, 7-0 Lancaster. But Bennett responds the next drive. Darrell Hamilton caps off a big drive on a 1-yard touchdown run to make it 7-6 Lancaster. Then later in that first quarter, it was Antonio Davis finding Jaden Lewis on a big 63-yard touchdown pass, make it 12-7. And then late in that second quarter, Davis and Lewis connecting again, 27-yard pass, 18-7. And then Lancaster hits about a 40-yard field goal in the final minute there to make it 18-10, your halftime score. So I'll start with Paul. First thoughts on this first half?
My first thoughts, close battle. Lancaster's winning the special teams play.
That's
10
right.
points.
They had another kickoff return, which went to midfield.
To the 50. So they've had two great returns and then that field goal at the end. So that's actually keeping them in this game. Good defense overall, but Bennett has just a phenomenal amount of speed. So you stop them, and suddenly they're down 40 yards. Just a great amount of speed on Bennett.
Jim?
You know, and that you had mentioned, Francis, in your recap that the last two touchdowns were passing touchdowns from Davis to Jaden Lewis. That first drive, the first time that they got the ball, they took the ball from the 20-yard line. It was all runs except for one short pass. So I guess my point is they can do just about anything they want. Their speed, as Paul mentioned before, they just have it all.
And didn't Lewis have a big end around, big chunk of run drive as well?
Yes, he carried the ball I think 5 times in a row at the beginning of 4 or 5. So he's had a very, very good game.
Jaden Lewis. He is incredible. I went down to the field for a lot of the first half. I wanted to get down there, and I was right in front of me was the end around touchdown, and I have not seen many kids as fast as him. I mean, when he turned the corner, he was gone. I mean, you understand why he had 10 pick sixes last year or some crazy number that it was, because he is just so fast out there. And Rashad Perry is doing exactly what he is supposed to do. He's controlling the line of scrimmage. There was a question about roughing the passer. I thought it could have went either way. But you're really seeing 2 very good football teams. It's not like they're blowing out Lancaster. It's hard to score on Bennett. They are a very good defense. They have athletes everywhere. They are very good. They're very fast. I really feel it's going to come down to who's going to make the least amount of mistakes. You saw Lancaster get it all the way down to about the 20-25. I think it was Colin. He fumbled the ball, making a nice run, but a really nice play by the Bennett defenders to pick it up. I think it was Harrington who dropped a pass who may have scored on. So it's going to come down to little things like that. And I've said it a few times, but to beat a team as good at Bennett, you've got to almost be perfect. And you're still hanging on. You're only down 8. Bennett gets the ball to start. It's crucial to get the ball back right away and get back in this game.
Yeah, I think you have so many. I think we kind of saw this similarly in the last game. We got to talk about the weather a little bit affecting offenses, especially a passing offense like Bennett. And there's a couple plays where you think you throw that pass is a little more on, or maybe the ball's a little too slick, and that's a pass play that's 30, 40 yards or goes all the way to the end zone.
Yeah, and I don't know if I would call them a passing offense, Bennett. They have the capabilities of doing that for sure, but you're absolutely right. And when we were up here, it doesn't look that bad. So I was dumb enough to go down there, and I felt like I stood in the shower after being in there for 3 minutes. I was just drenched. So it's tough, and it's little things, like getting fresh balls in there and drying them off. It's very important, to get the little things done, or people that really don't get credit for things like that are crucial in games like this.
I just wanted to say one thing. Jim and I were talking. I said I'm hoping Antonio Davis's mom or dad, somebody get them a picture of that second touchdown throw, from his stance to his arm motion to his release.
You can see it later.
I don't know. We have a couple guys down there. We have Cal Phillips down there.
It looked like a professional quarterback, and then the catch, it looked like Gabe Davis on the Bills. It was just a pitch and throw, picture perfect, great speed, threw to the open spot, receiver runs to it, touchdown. Bennett is they can be a force. They can be a force in the air.
And on the Lancaster side, I think Coach Rupp has really used and broadened out the use of Micah Harry. And like Micah, he put him a lot, not only in the running game, which he's had a pretty
he returned the kick also.
The kick, but the passing game.
Yeah.
If you remember, he's caught a couple of passes, and probably the one he remembers the most is the one that would have gone for a touchdown that he dropped, and they're using him in the passing game, where the last time I saw him play they didn't do that.
Well, and I think Lincoln has to do things like that. When you have a defensive line as good as Bennett's, as fast as Bennett's, sometimes you have to allow them in, let them go past you, and dump it over their head and use some screens. That's the only way you can slow down a line that fast. You have to utilize screens.
You're right. Great speed on the outside. Perry, he's taking on 2 guys.
Jim,
3 guys.
He's
Jim,
amazing. He really is.
You mentioned this before a couple days ago to me. Can you stripe a little bit of Micah Harry in that first game? He only had, maybe 70, 80 yards, but you thought he still put on a fantastic performance. Can you stripe how exactly they used him in that first game? What you're seeing is different here in the first half.
Yes, much different. And they ran him, for the most part, between the tackles. Right? And who plays tackle for Bennett. Right? So, again, but every single yard he got, he fought for. And I thought he had an excellent game there with only 77 yards because he was the only one gaining any yards in that game. So I was glad to see him branch him out, broaden him out, whatever you want to say, and throw the ball to him. Because once he gets an open space, we saw what he can do.
And through six quarters between Bennett and Lancaster, the Lancaster offense has only scored once so far.
Yeah,
and so they're hard to score on. They have Division I talent. That's just. It's not easy.
No,
no, it's not.
Because you're exactly right. Speed on the first level and a bulk, a Superman in the middle. Speed on the outside linebackers. Speed in the defensive back.
And ball hawks.
All on every level. They have somebody who is a D1 prospect or have already committed. So Bennett, hats off to them. Tough defense. Lancaster has to figure out somehow how to score, so we'll see.
All right, so on that note, we're going to take a short break. When we come back for our halftime show, we're going to talk to these guys, what they would say to their players if they were coaching. You're watching the Section 6 Class AA halftime show on WNYA Athletics. Welcome back to the Section 6 Class AA halftime show presented by A-Turf, Logistics Plus, Howard Hanna, and Western New York Immediate Care. We're going to step into the coach's shoes. So we're going to have Coach McDuffie's go first. What is your message, Jim, to your team right now in the locker room?
Well, first of all, you always want to start out with a positive message, and that positive message is keep doing what you're doing on offense as far as running the ball and complimenting Antonio Davis, as Paul said on his play. Start with that. Two things that I would remind them of, just put in their head. First of all, penalties. All right? Stop the penalties, but be aware. Play clean, play hard, like you're playing, and also remind them about ball security because we're only up by one touchdown. So don't be too loose with the ball in this weather.
Paul, Coach Rupp, what are you saying to your team?
So I'm going to do my positives off my not so data sheet. Love the special teams play. We need one more big play out of there somewhere. Block punt, something unexpected. We got to score off of that. Defense, I really have enjoyed watching Lancaster rally to the ball. 2 guys, 3 guys. They got to continue to do that. First guy in, wrap them up. Second guy in. We got to tomahawk the ball. We need some turnovers. Offense, you got to get some consistency. You got to get some yardage and one big play. That could be the difference in this second half for Lancaster.
Tim?
Yeah, if I'm Coach Rupp, I am telling my players, guys, this is it. For some of your seniors, this might be the last time that you get to play football. You have to have the half of your life. You have to leave it all on the field. You have to go as hard as you possibly can until the whistle blows every single play. You have to be disciplined. You have to limit your mistakes and leave everything out on the field, and let's just see what happens.
If I'm Coach McDuffie, I'm saying we faced adversity for the past 2 seasons, whether it's internally, externally. We're the team that faces adversity. Now is the time to overcome it. You have a lead. Now is the time to finish the deal no matter what. The rain, with many penalties, you got to overcome it. You're the more talented team. You have to finish it off. So those of you watching right now on the Western New York Athletics, you'll see Stu and Tom coming up next. We can only show their faces right now. We're not allowed to show the video live because it is being broadcast on Spectrum. However, you can watch the entire broadcast, all of our cameras in full tomorrow, 4 o'clock, right here on Western New York Athletics. But for Paul Catrona, Jim Craig, Tim Chifa, I'm Francis Beck. Thank you for tuning with us at halftime. We'll be back post-game. Coming up next, second half action, Stu Poyer, Tom Prince. You're watching high school football on Western New York Athletics.
Stu Boyer and Tom Prince back at Highmark Stadium. We're getting ready for the third quarter. Bennett leading this one 18-10 over Lancaster. And Tom, we want to remind everybody one more time that you'll be able to watch this game in its entirety after 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon when the game will be posted. For now, just our faces and our voices. And the fog has come down a little bit. And I can't see it.
It's raining now.
But it looks like it's raining, and I don't know how long it's been raining for. And
it looks like it just picked up. It was, if anything, it was a mist earlier. Was the best way to explain it. Now it's actually raining out there, and you can see the rain starting to come down. For some reason, they put some more time up on the clock. And look at the scoreboard still.
Oh yeah, there.
See, now you can see it. Okay.
Oh yeah, it's coming down really
so
good.
It's much more than you think, but the fog makes it tough to see from the angle that we're at. So no doubt it's actually raining, and will have an effect in this game, especially in the second half right here.
Well, usually you can see by the light towers where the rain is, but because of the fog, you can't see it. And you're right. I mean, the ball's a little slicker, harder to catch, harder to hold on to.
And that field will get a little slick, too.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
no
Even
doubt.
from the standpoint of your footing. You know, so, Stu, I want to talk about a point that Paul Catrona brought up in the halftime show right there. You know, what most people don't realize is in New York State, there are probably, as far as Division I players that play football in New York State, probably, I think when Dick Gallagher used to do the list, was somewhere between 10 and 15 players.
That's it for the entire state.
For the entire state.
That's
Division I.
That's astounding, isn't it?
And we're talking about the possibility of 5 Division I athletes sitting out there on this Bennett team alone.
Yeah. Well, Perry and Lewis, to name two, are already committed.
You know what I mean? We already know that Hitchcock's getting looks, right? You already know Jameer Thomas is getting looks, right? I know Hamilton's out there getting looks, right? You're talking about 1/3 of what the entire state would deliver as far as in Division I scholarships.
That is astounding.
It's not only a testament to Bennett, but it's also a testament to Coach McDuffie right out there, because he gets these kids noticed. He makes sure these schools know who they are. Does a fabulous job of that. You know who also does a fabulous job, not in Section 6, but here in Western New York, is Coach Jerry Smith. I believe he's
yes,
another one
no doubt.
who does a very good job of getting his players recognized out there.
You're right, 100% right.
And that game's going on. We got to get a scoring update if we can from that St. Francis Canisius game as the Monsignor Martin Championship is going on right now.
Lancaster, the kickoff goes into the end zone for a touchback. It'll be Bennett ball, 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line.
But this is, this is a big drive to start things off, right? Bennett, you got what you wanted, right? You came out. Even though you gave up that first score, you matched it and stopped the offense of Lancaster, right? Besides the special team points that were put up there. Now you've got the opportunity to really make this a 2-point score game again, but you've got to do that, and you've got to keep moving the ball the same way you did in the first half.
Bennett now attacking the end zone to our right, the tunnel entrance where the players come onto the field. 1st and 10 Tigers at their own 20-yard line. And there's a handoff to Jameer Thomas. If he gets some room, look out. Still on his feet. He's got a blocker going down the sideline. Still on his feet inside the Lancaster 30 and finally brought down inside the 20-yard line all the way down to about the 15-yard line. Huge run, and watch it again. One missed tackle. We're going to see a number of missed tackles. 63-yard run. And finally hauled down out of bounds by Darius Servey. And 1st and 10 is Bennett with a huge run all the way down to the 17-yard line where it's 1st and 10. And this is right around a little bit closer than the Davis to Lewis touchdown pass, the second one. And there's a handoff, and that's Hamilton barreling forward for about 5 yards.
I'm going to give you an update.
I love updates.
St. Francis 50, Canisius 12, 1:13 left inside the game.
50. They put up 50 on Canisius. Wow. Well, our friend Craig Krasinski's not going to be happy, but our friend Jerry Smith will be ecstatic.
Listen, we knew how good the St. Francis team can be. It's 50-20 right now, but we knew how good the St. Francis team, and boy, they came out big in the Monsignor Martin Championship game. They'll get a chance to go right on to the state championship now.
2nd and 7. They give the ball to Hamilton one more time, and he almost spun away from 2 or 3 tacklers. Took about 5 guys to get him down. St. Francis is fun to watch. The 2 running backs, Pendergrass and Kidd, and you throw in a Logan Reska and a Steve Otremba Jr., and you got a powerful offense, and I left out a few guys.
And I've been talking about all year that I think probably is one of the 2 best lines in offensive in Western New York, Bennett being the other one, but Bennett and St. Francis bringing together 2 of the top lines in Western New York.
3rd down and 6 from the 13 for the Bennett Tigers. And there's the handoff to Jaden Lewis. A flag comes down, and Lewis is inside the 5. We'll see what the flag is. It's in the general area of where holding, I believe, is called, and we'll see what Mike Binkowski says. And it's holding. It's against Bennett. And it'll take that one back. They'll go from inside the 5 to outside the 20. Once again, the officials, Mike Binkowski is the referee. Joe Argentieri is the umpire. The linesman is Kenneth Thrun. The line judge is Corey Brackman. And the back judge is Kevin Ryan. So it'll be 3rd and 16 from the 22. It's actually the 23 for Bennett. 3rd and 16. Davis in the shotgun. He goes back to pass. Throws to the near side. Almost intercepted. Great defensive play on the far side. Almost picked off. It'll be 4th down.
Great timing on this play right here.
So close to an interception for Lancaster. That's a great play. Devin Kowalski almost picked it off. And now it's 4th and 16 from the 23, and the Tigers will go for it.
And why not down in the side,
Absolutely,
right?
yes.
I'm not kicking anything down here. I would go for it too.
And the snap is low. Davis picks it up, and the whistle blows. There's a flag. And it's a false start on Bennett. So they'll back him up another 5 and make it 4th and 21 from the 28. So Lancaster trying to hold Bennett here. Lancaster's already down by 8. Hamilton in the backfield with Davis. And we get another whistle.
Wow, no, it's going to be another false start.
Oh, man, this drive is going backwards.
Unless it was delay a game.
Well, one way or the other, we think it's on Bennett.
Yeah, false start.
And there it is. Eagle eyes Tom. You got it again, my friend. You never miss. I'm sure you weren't a referee at some point. I know you coached a lot. Did you officiate too?
Baseball I did, but no, those days are over. I'll stick with this sitting right here with you still.
and that's the only way we like it. 4th and 26 now from the 33-yard line for Bennett. Davis back to pass. He throws deep downfield, and it is caught for the touchdown. Jaden Lewis hauls it in on 4th and 26. Bennett strikes Davis to Lewis, and it's 24-10.
He hits it where only he can catch it. He throws it right where only Lewis can get this.
I couldn't tell if he actually caught it. Well, you can see he caught it right there on the replay. I couldn't tell with the naked eye, so I waited for the official to put his arms up, and it's 24-10. What a blow to Lancaster. You got him backed up in 4th and 26, and I guess that's all about speed.
And when I told you that Bennett was going to win with the passing game today, in the rain, in the fog, everything else, they're showing exactly they can do it.
And here comes Davis rolling to the near side. Throws, and incomplete. Intended for Roseboro. You do realize that you are more accurate than even the great Karnak.
I don't know. I wouldn't go that far, Stu. But listen, let's really talk about right now. That's 8 points right now.
Yeah.
Left on the field right now for Bennett. That probably is the only negative thing we could talk about when it comes to this game so far for Bennett.
I mean, that really, what a stinger for Lancaster. Now they got to find a way to regroup, and it's getting to the time where they really need points. I
agree, but at least they're keeping it so it's still a two-score game. Think about it. If it was 32-10 right now with those 8 points, this game could already be out of hand.
Yes.
But their defense is keeping them in this game, and it just takes one drive. We've seen also on the flip side, even though we've seen Bennett passing the ball very well today, Davis is having a day back there.
3 touchdown
and
passes.
thrown pinpoint passes today. He really has. But listen, Lancaster's been able to pass the ball and move the ball through the air too. Don't be surprised we see them to go back to the air and to see if they could put some quick points on the board to try to keep this game close.
He'll bounce the kickoff, fielded by Harry on the far side, and he will take it out to about the 34-yard line, where Lancaster will have it 1st and 10. The Legends in need of points, down 24-10 with 9:34 to go here in the third quarter. Antonio Davis III having just a fabulous night. 3 touchdown passes to Jaden Lewis, and I got to tell you, 4th and 26, and you come up with a strike like that. That is impressive, and not only puts points on your team for your team, you demoralize the other team. And Lancaster needs to respond, and they need to respond quickly. Stolt fakes the handoff, rolls to the right, being chased by Perry, and he just throws it away. Rashard Perry putting on the pressure there. It's amazing how well Perry moves for a big man. Every time you see it, you think the same thing.
And a big man, I mean, there is no high school athlete built like this, right? I'll never forget last year. I was actually standing waiting for the Orchard Park Bennett game last year, and it was homecoming. And Rashad Perry walks out along the walkway towards us. And I look, and he's more impressive without his shoulder pads on, even than with his shoulder pads.
There's a handoff to Harry. Breaks a couple of tackles and gets out beyond the 40-yard line. Well, that's saying something.
and literally as I'm walking, Harry Skull is one of the ones I'm talking to. For those of you who know Harry Skull, he is a famous photographer for the Buffalo News, one of the absolute best. Like, you want him on any camera there is out there, right? But, we got an injured player.
Yeah, Jameer Thomas limped a little bit, and I can't see who. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Tom. There's somebody down there, and hopefully whoever it is. Oh, wow. Aaron Roseborough limping a little bit, too, so maybe Thomas and Roseborough collided.
Well, I think no. I think this was a shoe issue.
Is that all it is?
Yeah, he didn't have his shoe on, and he was hopping off. You're talking about for Lancaster, right? Yeah, the Lancaster, as he was coming off, was hopping off. He needed to get his shoe fixed.
Hopefully that's all it is. There was someone down for a moment. So anyway, I interrupted your story.
So I just go to Harry. Take this picture. He's coming. And he took this picture of Rashad Perry, and it was just him. And he's got muscles on his muscles out there is what he's got.
3rd and 2 from the 42 for Lancaster. And this is Cologne on the direct snap. He's around the corner, gets the first down, and is run down. They'll say he got out of bounds as the chains will move.
Jaden Cologne with the keeper. Moves the chains for Lancaster.
1st and 10 Legends. At the 47-yard line of their own for the Legends.
And again, a lot what we've seen in the first half, right? You've seen Lancaster can move the ball. It's not that they have not been able to move the ball today. They have. Now they're just looking to finally finish off that one drive and put some points on, offensively, put some points on the board.
Stolt for the pass. Oh, intercepted. Beautifully done. What a play by Noah McDuffie, and he brings it back almost to midfield. That's a great interception. Lancaster moving, and McDuffie jumps on that and picks it off. 1st and 10, Bennett, and watch it again. Somebody lost a helmet, and it's a little difficult to see on that replay, but that's a fabulous play by McDuffie, the anticipation and jumping up to make the play.
He's been huge on the defensive side of the ball today, you know what I mean? He really has.
There it is.
That gets a little more underneath it, a little more air underneath that.
It's a touchdown.
And that's a touchdown right there. I agree. But listen, I don't want to take anything away from McDuffie. That was a great play right there on top of it and really takes momentum and gives it right back to Bennett right here.
Davis the third, shotgun snap. Man, I think Bennett was a little too quick coming out of there. I didn't see Lancaster jump. It looked like 2 wide receivers moved before the ball was snapped. And it's a false start against Bennett. That's the 3rd false start in the last, 2 series?
And I'll tell you, the way, Rashad Perry's playing is, when's the last time, and I don't know the answer to this, did we see have we ever seen a finalist for both the Conley Cup and the Trench Trophy happen?
That's a great question, and I don't have an answer for that. It probably did, but then again.
Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? But think about that. That's how good of a player Rashad Perry is, that it's even a consideration that we're talking about this.
We get a whistle. Now, what's this whistle? A timeout is taken on the field. Bennett will take a timeout. We'll take a quick timeout. 8:18 to play. 3rd quarter. Bennett 24, Lancaster 10. You're watching the Section 6 Class AA Final on Western New York Athletics. Well, Bennett has taken time out, and Tom is working on getting an answer to the Connolly Cup Trench Trophy question. We're about to.
And I'm sure right now on Facebook the comments are blowing up because somebody knows it, right? It's blowing up somewhere right now.
It's always the case.
But listen, It's a great question to ask. I'll
It
tell you
is.
that.
It really is.
Yeah.
1st and 15 for the Tigers. Play action, and Davis III rolls to his right, and he'll simply throw that one away. An incomplete pass, and there's a late flag.
They're pointing at somebody. Did you see that? He was actually pointing.
Let's see what the flag is. Illegal block in the back on Bennett, and that's the 3rd consecutive penalty on the Tigers.
Wow, and it really had nothing to do with the play whatsoever either, you know?
Yes. So they'll back him up even further. Now the Noah McDuffie interception gave Bennett the ball out near the 50. Now they're back at their 32-yard line.
Boy, that fog right now is really low.
Getting lower and lower. And
You can see it a little bit on the, you know what I mean, on
Yeah.
the screen right now, even on our cameras.
And there's the handoff, a good hard running, and about a 6 or 7 yard gain. McDuffie on the carry. Is it still? It's hard for me to tell. Is it still raining? Can you see if it's? I can't really. The light towers are obscured by the fog.
It again, it's back to that. If it is raining, it's a mist type rain out there right now. It's obviously not something that's coming down real hard like we saw earlier.
So Bennett, 2nd down and 24 from their own 36-yard line. This drive started at their own 49 after the McDuffie interception.
But I'll tell you, look, we saw 4th down and what was it?
26.
26 to get a touchdown right there, and they did that. So, you know, I don't put anything past this Bennett team right at all.
And Bennett takes another timeout. We'll take another timeout. 24-10, Bennett leading Lancaster with 7:18 to play here in the 3rd quarter of the Section 6 Class AA Final. You're watching high school football on Western New York Athletics.
Second down and 24 at the Bennett 36.
Bennett with the ball, 2nd and 24 at their own 36-yard line. Davis III goes under center. And he'll fake the pitch and hand it off to Jameer Thomas, who tries to get around the corner. He stopped a little short of the 1st down.
Jameer Thomas on the run.
Good run there. Excuse
Still
me. not-
14. What was it? 14 yards, though,
yeah,
right?
excuse me. I saw the 1st stick, not the 2nd stick, so he's well short of the 1st down.
Out at the Bennett
It's
49.
3rd and 11.
Third down.
My bad. I saw the yard marker of the 1st one, and I mistakenly thought it was the 2nd one. So now 3rd and 11 for Bennett from their own 49. This is where the drive originally started.
But a more manageable 3rd down.
No-
At least they
no
made
doubt.
up for those penalties right there.
Yes. Of course, it's 4th and 26. Who needs manageable? Just score a touchdown, which they did. Here's Davis back to pass. He puts it up on the far side. That one's incomplete and overthrown. He made sure if his guy couldn't catch it, nobody else was. It was intended for Jaden Lewis, who he's connected with, for 3 touchdowns tonight. That'll bring up a 4th down for Bennett.
And I think they're going to punt this right here. But this is that weird territory, right?
Yes.
Where we see a lot of teams still go for this.
And
Yeah, because here comes Lewis out. He's the one who does their punting.
my guess is if he can probably throw it too, although he's going to be back deep for the punt.
Listen, I wouldn't put anything past Lewis. He can run for it. He can do anything,
Yeah,
right?
That's true. And blocked. Lancaster blocked the punt. There's the big special teams play that Lancaster needed. And it's 1st and 10 Legends at around the Bennett 40-yard line. Watch it again. Let's see if we can see who actually blocked this punt.
Lancaster's offense takes the field.
I couldn't see what number blocked the punt. The first man through there. Great play. 1st and 10 Legends. at the Bennett 40-yard line.
But another special teams win right there for Lancaster.
And there's a handoff, and it's a short gain for Harry.
There's no doubt that Lancaster's winning that part of the game right there. And that's the reason this is still a game right here. It's solely because of the special teams for Lancaster. You got to give them credit. But like you've said earlier in this game, or earlier even in this quarter, they've got to capitalize on one of these. You've got to put it in the end zone, make it a one-score game.
Well, they'll hand it off to Henry, and there's no room to run, a yard or two at most. Perry among those in on the tackle. And already it's third down. And now Lancaster will get to the line of scrimmage quickly. 3rd and 7 from the 37.
But you got to remember, Stu, they are no doubt in 4-down territory right here. So they're going to get 2 shots at this if they don't get it on the first one.
Stolt claps his hands. And now he looks down at his wrist along with Harry. They were all in sync on that one. Now Lancaster, number of players looking to their left. And now Stolt takes the shotgun snap. He throws. It's incomplete on the near side, and then it'll bring up 4th down. Cologne, the intended receiver, and it's 4th down for Lancaster. They need to convert. Down 24-10. You don't know how many more possessions you're going to have in a given game, and at some point, you begin to run out of possessions. It's a little bit like the clock in that regard.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, if this was at ground level, you'd wonder if this fog would be having a big-time effect on the game.
That's a really good question. Stolt to pass, throws, incomplete. And they will turn it over on downs. Pass intended for Matt Bauer, and Lancaster goes 4 and out and gives the ball right back to Bennett. So the block punt goes for naught. And I guess the one upside for Lancaster is they didn't take much time off the clock. And that's where they're at right now, needing a stop, needing a turnover, and needing points.
But this Bennett defense just really it's been stout today. It really has. I mean, think about it. The defense, it's been special teams that has given up right now all 10 points. Defense has really done its job here today.
And Davis hands it off to Hamilton. He's tripped up in the backfield.
Oh, they think this is a turnover.
Did the ball? I didn't even see the ball come out. Let's see.
They're holding it.
Lancaster says it's their ball. Hamilton
they're saying
the ball.
They're saying he was down. They're saying it was after the ball came out after he made contact with the ground.
And Hamilton a little slow to get up. It's an official's timeout. And we're going to take a look at this and let's see. Well, that's really impossible to tell. It looked like it came out when his backside hit the turf. So I guess I would say they probably made the correct call there. You couldn't see the other angle if the ball was coming out, and that looks like Hamilton getting a little help getting off the field, and hopefully he's all right and able to return to the game on the far side. And it'll be 2nd and 10 for Bennett. Wonder if we're going to start seeing Davis under center more and more as the game goes on, because they want to work the clock a little bit and make it a little less obvious than in passing situations. Got that 14-point lead. Davis under center. He'll hand that one off to McDuffie. The ball came out that time. Let's see who's got it. Lancaster says they do. And haven't seen any officials say anything, so the ball is apparently going to stay with Bennett. That time I saw it come out.
Yeah, that one, and you can see. And very quickly, Lancaster trying to get the call to go their way.
Yeah.
That ball almost looked like it was a slick ball, comes out that way.
I was just going to say, the ball's got to be really slick, and I think he recovered his own fumble. And now it's 3rd and 9 for Bennett. 3rd and 9 at their 38-yard line for the Tigers. And Davis, pass on the far side. Nice catch by Thomas, and he barrels forward. Good catch. Thomas kind of took that off the shoestrings, and that's a Bennett first down. Really nice catch by Thomas, picking it up kind of almost like a shoestring catch with that was a fingertip catch. Nice catch. And it's 1st and 10 for Bennett. Big first down there for the Tigers. They keep the ball. And, you know, it's only, in quotes, a 2-touchdown lead, but it feels like a little bit more. I mean, it's just been, and there's another pass on the far side to Thomas, and he's taken out of bounds by Servey. It just feels like a bigger than a 2-touchdown lead, only because Lancaster has been unable to put the ball in the end zone.
Yeah, and I understand exactly what you're saying right here. And to think about it, if all those 2-point conversions were done, we talked about it'd be a 32-10 game right now. So opportunity has been there more for Bennett is the best way to say it than really what's happened for Lancaster at this point.
2nd and 15 at the 44-yard line, for 2nd and 3 actually. And there's the handoff and getting some good tough yards, and Lancaster piling in there. Kamari Cook on the carry.
And becomes the 5th running back for Bennett right there with carries. I mean, it just shows what this Bennett team really is capable of. And, you know, there aren't many teams that can just keep bringing them in. Come on, we got someone else to go, you know, that can run the ball. And this is great to see. Look, Hamilton's coming back out on the field. So that's awesome. Great to see right there for Bennett. So, but there aren't many teams from the running back perspective that can say that, or so interchangeable from running back to wide receiver, you know, all over the team in all different positions. And Hamilton can go to the play offensive line if he needed him to.
Yes, he could. And they'll hand it off to the second back. There's nowhere to run, and it'll bring up 2nd down.
But great defense right there again by Lancaster. Nice penetration right there so that there couldn't be advancement by the running backs.
McDuffie on the carry that time. I kind of liken Bennett's running backs to all those Jamestown wide receivers we saw last night. Jamestown has 5 guys catching the ball, and they all get great yardage after the catch. Well, Bennett has at least 5 guys running the ball, all with speed, all with power. Now here's Davis, back to pass. He throws, far side caught, and quickly knocked out of bounds is Jaden Lewis. Another first down for Bennett. Now, we don't have any official statistics, but Davis and Jaden Lewis have put up some impressive numbers.
I 100% agree. See, maybe we can get the halftime stats.
Yeah,
You know.
I don't. Oh, thank you.
Do we have, though, Lewis in particular? I was wondering if they got some of the halftime statistics.
1st and 10 for Bennett. They're at the Lancaster 28. You know what? At some point, Tom, this Lancaster defense is going to wear down.
Well, listen, they haven't yet, and we're about to go into the 4th quarter. So,
and after that 4th and 26, I thought the emotion might be a little too much. And there's Thomas breaking a tackle, going back the other way. Davis leading the blocking. Jameer Thomas is into the end zone for the touchdown. A 28-yard run by Jameer Thomas, and Bennett takes a 30-10 lead with 1:14 to go here in the 3rd quarter.
Stu, that's not fair. That's not fair.
Look at him. He comes to the right.
Almost gets a tackle for a loss, breaks it, says, you know what, I'm going to turn the corner and go and take it in for a touchdown.
Yeah, I believe it was number 51. Had them all wrapped up. Let's see who had number 51 for Lancaster, I think. Evan Stencil looked like he had him wrapped up, and he was able to spin out of his grasp and go around. He came to the near side and then went all the way to the far side and into the end zone.
That looked just like the punt return that happened against Orchard Park for him last week. The ball comes out of his hands, goes about 5 yards the other way. He goes, grabs it, goes one way, about to get tackled, does a spin, turn around, and then you see him run right down the sideline. It was almost the same exact thing, except for that one went for 70 yards versus, that one was, 20 yards, right? The kid is unbelievable. We talked about it. His speed is something you can't match. There's not a player in Western New York that can match it.
There was a penalty on the first 2-point try. Now Davis puts it up in the air, and it's intercepted by Lancaster, so the extra point is once again no good. Now, sooner or later, Bennett, depending on how far they go, they're getting away with it tonight. But sooner or later, there's going to come one of those games when they're not going to be able to get away with it.
I mean,
and get away is a little strong.
That's 10 points.
Yeah.
That's 10 points on the board right now.
Yep, that's a lot.
But there isn't a team that really you could say in Western New York that can overcome leaving 10 points up on the board. It just shows how good they really are.
Yeah, you're right about that. So they will kick off to Lancaster, leading 30-10, a 20-point lead with 1:10 to go here in the third quarter. Once again, Harry and Cologne back deep to receive the kickoff from Bennett. And the kick will bounce, be taken by Harry at the 21. He's out to the 30, cuts to the near side, and is spun around at the 34. Looked for a second like he just might be able to turn the corner, but Dominic Howard jumped in there and said, "Nah, I don't think you're going to do that again," and spun him to the ground. So it's 1st and 10 Lancaster at their own 35-yard line. And I think we're going to see some no huddle from the Legends.
I think you're going to try something. You need a quick score, right?
Yep.
You want to try to do anything just to be able to get some points up on the board. I like the change-up. And again, I won't be surprised we still see them go by the air.
Stolt, shotgun snap, hands it off to Harry, and Bennett stuffs it. There's nowhere for him to run there. I want to remind everybody once again, coming up after the game, our Western New York Athletics crew, Francis Beck, Tim Chifa, Jim Craig, and Paul Catrona will have their final thoughts on this game and perhaps even the rest of the games played here at the stadium. As we march toward the end of the third quarter, we're under 40 seconds, loss of 2 on that play, and it's 2nd down and 12 for the Legends. And there's a pass on the far side, incomplete. Intended for Cologne. And that one really didn't have much of a chance. The defense was right there. Even if he caught it, I don't think he was going
Lewis
very
was
far.
right there. Lewis, in fact, wraps him up. You can see was ready to make a hit right there. And no doubt it definitely wouldn't have been something that would have been a major gain right there.
So now just 22 seconds left in the quarter. 3rd and 12 for Lancaster. Legends needing some answers here. Stolt comes to the near side. He throws, incomplete, right near the Lancaster sideline. Broken up by Damari Clemens. And it'll be 4th down for Lancaster. Pass intended for Matt Bauer. And it's 4th and 12 for the Legends, and they will punt it away.
It's 4th down. 12 to go at the 33.
Wow, it looked like nobody was set right there.
Yeah,
Did you see that?
I was wondering. It seemed to happen awful fast. The punt will be downed.
There is a flag.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is going to be a false start right here because it looked like nobody was set, and all of a sudden they were punting it.
Yeah, I glanced down for a quick second, and I was like, well, they still have a second before they snap it, and next thing I know, the ball's there.
It's encroachment.
I thought he said illegal formation.
Oh.
But he pointed toward Bennett,
Yeah.
and I thought he said illegal formation, so I would think that's on the offense, but it's obviously on the defense, or he's talking because he's talking to Coach Eric Rupp.
That was
odd.
It really was. It looked like nobody was set, and all of a sudden the ball was getting punted.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. So let's see what Mike Binkowski says here.
Okay, illegal substitution.
They're going to replay the down, which means they're going to punt it again.
Yes.
So it was an illegal substitution against Bennett, if I understood that correctly.
Which is probably why it looked off to us, because
Yes.
people were running off and on the field, or at least somebody was running off and on the field, and somebody wasn't set. So I think that's obviously what threw us off on that play right there.
Except now, it looks like Lancaster's going to go for it.
And I don't blame them. Why not? You're down right now by 20.
And if you can get it, you'll get a big spark for your offense. He throws, and that's caught for a first down. Big play there. Matt Bauer on the reception. And it's a first down for Lancaster, a huge first down as the third quarter winds down. See if I don't think they'll be able to get the next play off, and they will not. So Lancaster with a big first down, trailing 30-10 after 3 quarters. You're watching the Section 6 Class AA Finals on Western New York Athletics. That was very odd.
The award will be presented at the conclusion of the game along with the section flag.
Well, there's some stats for the game. I believe these are halftime stats.
No,
third quarter stats.
Yeah.
Okay, well, look at the 60 yards passing for Lancaster, 191 for Bennett. Look at that completion percentage also for Bennett. Yeah, the statistics favor Bennett. And look at that, 0 in the turnover department for both teams. Impressive. Time of possession. I'm not always a big believer in time of possession as an important statistic.
Well, especially when you're trying to keep an offensive off the field, you know what I mean? You can really do something right here.
I just think it's what you do with the ball when you have it. And so far, Bennett with a 20-point lead. Could that conversion of the fourth down for Lancaster actually lead to something big for the Legends? As they really need points. And now the Legends both teams will switch ends. Lancaster will attack the goal to our right toward the tunnel end where the players come out, and Bennett will attack the scoreboard end of the field here at Highmark Stadium. 1st and 10 at the 48 rather. And there's a handoff to Harry, and Harry's on his feet, and he gains about almost 6 yards. Excuse me, that was Cologne. Good run there, a 6-yard gain for the Legends, and it's 2nd down and 4 for Lancaster. They'll spot the ball at the 45-yard line. And once again, that was a play-action pass, and it's incomplete. Intended for Harry. The ball was a little bit high. He reached up and tried to grab it, but couldn't quite haul it in. And it'll bring up a 3rd down and 3 for the Legends. Max Stolt looks at his wristband. And Stolt comes to the near side. He's in trouble. He gets the ball away, almost intercepted. And there's a flag on the play. Very dangerous play by Stolt to even put that up in the air. Let's see what the flag is. And it's holding against Lancaster. So they'll get third down. It'll be third and a little bit longer than the 3 that they had to go.
Stu, you got a special guest that's going to join us right now.
Okay.
So you got a chance to talk to an offensive lineman right now who has actually played against both of these teams, right? And be able to talk about, since we talk about the trenches so much, yes, it's someone I know very well, but it's a great perspective just to talk about what he may see in the trenches.
So go ahead, take it away.
So obviously, so everybody realizes, Luke Prince is about to hop on and join us. Luke, you get a chance to play against both these teams, right? And you get a chance to play Bennett twice. Talk about what you had to do to prepare on the line for Bennett.
The line's everything.
Stolt takes the snap. He's under pressure. He throws. Almost intercepted. What a play. Almost intercepted by Goodman for Bennett, and a great play by, I couldn't see who made that for Lancaster, Xavier Goodman. Knocked it up in the air, almost picked it off. And I think if he catches that, he's got a lot of room to run.
Oh, look at this. It's a muff right, and they weren't.
Oh, and he does get the punt away.
He didn't get it. He had more than enough time to go back and get it. They weren't really rushing hard.
And it'll be Bennett ball at their own 39-yard line.
I think we got it fixed. Go ahead, Luke. Why don't you go ahead and answer that question while we got this moment.
We may be having a little technical difficulties here.
Luke, let me just check your mic. Go ahead. Just say hi to everyone.
What's up?
Okay,
oh, there you go.
There we go. We got him. So, Luke, you've obviously had a chance to prepare for Bennett twice. You had to prepare for it inside the trenches, right? Just talk about what you had to do to prepare for this Bennett team and how good they were inside the trenches.
We had to do so many different plays to basically just against Bennett and Lancaster, just because they're clearly the top 2 teams in our division. But you win or lose in the trenches. I don't care what anyone else says. That's just how it is. And they were two very tough teams. You did have to play against each other, but if you can't run in the trenches, you can't win football games. It's just how it is.
Luke, you sound an awful lot like your dad. And there's a flag on the play. It looks like illegal motion against Bennett. Shamira Land was stopped on the play. So how do you prepare for big, tough offensive lines? I mean, did you do anything special or different in terms of preparation?
We added in a lot more run plays because, I mean, you can't really just do the same thing.
So obviously what you're trying to do is disguise things, do things differently, right?
Well, we did with the wide receivers and stuff, we had them we did a lot of screens because those worked sometimes, and we added those in because a lot of times they just ran up the field, so...
And again, something they talked about in the halftime show. If you remember, they were talking about screens and different things, especially when you saw lines getting the penetration they got. That was something that you really had to use in your advantage. And obviously, did you use different formations, too, where you saw pulling guards and different things like that?
There were the first couple weeks we didn't pull guards when we passed, and we ended up doing that in the last couple weeks because it got a couple teams, and because everyone watches film, so when they were saying when we pulled, we're going to run it every time, so it ended up working. Actually, on the first couple plays that when we played Bennett in the playoffs, that's how we got our first down.
Very good. Well, Luke, go ahead. You want to ask one more?
No, I was just going to say Shamir Land on a couple of plays there, and it'll bring up a third down and short for Bennett.
Awesome. Well, Luke, thanks for just joining us. Wanted to get the perspective from the line, especially since you got a chance to play both these guys. We'll give Luke a quick chance to hop on the air right there. Great job, Luke.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Luke. And keep sounding like your dad. It'll serve you well.
Thank you.
Pay attention to Dad. See, we dads got to stick together there. And they will hand it one more time to Land, and he's got the first down and then some, breaking some tackles down all the way down to the 31, 32-yard line. Nice run by Shamir Land. brought down by Tyler Tedesco. And that's a really nice run. He finally broke loose a little bit there.
And the 6th running back today.
6. I can't think of another team I've ever seen anywhere that's had 6 running backs, all quality running backs, that they, first of all, had them, second of all, got touches for all of them.
Yeah, that's what I said. Maybe you remember. How does a coach come up with this many touches? How do you get this much time for every single one of these running backs?
Part of it is you got a big lead.
Yeah, I get that, but it's still tough to find, you know?
Yes, it is.
And pass the ball like they have tonight.
Yes. Speaking of passing, Davis comes to the near side, under pressure, gets the ball away, and incomplete, out of bounds. And I think Davis took a pretty big hit back near the 44-yard line. He was under pressure. And it'll bring up second down for the Tigers. Lewis running to the near side and was able to get the throw away. And literally, I think, threw it away. 8:37 to play. Clock working against Lancaster now. As the fog has gotten, now you can see the fog on your TV screen. 2nd and 10 for the Tigers. And the handoff to Land one more time. A little short of the first down. Bennett working the clock here.
Well, I'll tell you, at least tonight's going to finish a lot earlier than it did last night.
Yeah.
We walked out of here, I want to say it was 12:25 when we walked out of here last night after the 3rd game.
Unfortunately, you had to work this morning.
and I actually do work. You know what I mean? It's not just Western New York athletics.
I got home at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I went right upstairs and went right to sleep. And there's Davis on the carry around the far side at the 20, and he runs out of bounds smartly between the 11 and 12-yard line. Nice play by Antonio Davis III. And I remember seeing him as a sophomore at Frontier, and he didn't get a lot of the pub, but I thought he was a really good player, and he's really grown and certainly having a great night tonight. He was not one of the most highly heralded quarterbacks in Western New York, but he's the leader of one of the best teams in Western New York.
And you talked to Coach McDuffie, he knew it.
Yeah, he
right?
did.
He knew they were going to come out passing this year.
And there's a handoff to Land, and he goes forward to about the 6-yard line. Bring up second down. Now, if Bennett scores here, that will most likely put it away for good. Leading 30-10 with 7 minutes and less than 30 seconds to play in the 4th quarter. The Tigers have got to be feeling it now, and on the other end, the Legends can most likely feel it slipping away. A great season. And the pass to the near side is caught, and running into the end zone for the touchdown is Jameer Thomas. And Bennett goes up 36-10. One thing about Thomas, you're not going to catch him. He's a little slow to get up here. Hopefully he's all right. All right, they're looking at his lower left leg, and he appears to be in a bit of discomfort.
Well, you hope it's just a cramp type thing.
I hope so. And now the training staff and the coach come sprinting across the field to check out Jameer Thomas. I didn't see him reach for the leg immediately. Now Bennett up by 26. They'll no doubt go for 2 when play resumes, trying to make it 28.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's usually when you see them got that leg up and trying to stretch it out, hopefully that means it's a cramp. So let's fingers crossed right there.
I want to remind everybody of 2 things. Number 1, winners yesterday and today will represent Section 6 in the Far West Regionals against Section 5 next weekend in the Rochester area. Also coming up after the game, our Western New York Athletics crew, Francis Beck, Tim Chifa, Jim Craig, and Paul Catrona will have their post-game observations about this game, and no doubt we'll mention a little bit about each game and wrap it up and then look ahead toward next week. And as Tom mentioned, at that point, we'll become pretty good cheerleaders for Section 6. Cheerleaders might be a little bit strong, but, we do cover Section 6, and, we're not gonna lie about it. We want to see our teams from this area do well. It's a, pretty simple concept.
Yeah. And then don't forget the last thing. If you're watching this now and do want to see it in as far as the video is concerned, we will be broadcasting this at 4 o'clock tomorrow on Saturday. We got a big day tomorrow, too. We're going to be helping right now as Stu's going to be doing a kind of in charge or a guest or host, what do you want to call it, right? Where they're going to unveil the Trench Trophy finalists tomorrow. Then you and I leave that, go over to St. Joe's, where we're going to get a chance to call the Bishop Timon and St. Mary the Small School Championship of the Monsignor Martin. So we're going to get a chance to do that. We got a busy weekend still. It doesn't stop.
It's been a great weekend. Shout out and a thank you to my wife.
Oh, she's been great.
For always saying go ahead and do it. Jameer Thomas got up and is walking off the field under his own power, so that's good to see.
Yeah, that's usually a sign to me that it's some sort of, just cramping issues, what it was.
And now we have...
I think he must have left something over there because I think that's what they were looking for.
Yeah, that guy looked a little out of place on the field without a uniform. Bennett getting set to go for 2. And they're going to run the play before that, or that gentleman will run around the back or wait till the play is over. And there's a handoff and barreling forward. And it looks like they've got him stopped. And that was Shamir Land. And the score will stay 36-10 as the gentleman runs back toward the Bennett bench. And there you see the fog. Just covering up those blue seats, and it's crept down where it's actually on the field. You can see that. I cannot tell if it's raining. If it is, as you mentioned, it's a mist, but you get an idea of what the fog is like. So if you're here, drive carefully on your way home.
We can barely see the upper decks.
Yeah, no, I can't see it at all.
I can see it, but it is tough to see the upper deck. It really is. But I will tell you, the flags up top, I can't even see them. You have no idea that there's even flags up there.
And if Tom can't see him, nobody can see him. And I'm not kidding. So tomorrow afternoon, that game starts at 1 o'clock on Western New York Athletics from St. Joe's. We've had a lot of great, fun, and interesting matchups. And tomorrow will be another one.
No
You have
doubt.
a final score on the St. Francis Canisius game.
I think it was 50-20 is what it was.
50-20?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's on the far side and nowhere to run. Nowhere to run that time for Caleb Dunbar. And it'll be 1st and 10 Lancaster as the Legends continue to look for some kind of spark, some kind of offense.
So I just got an update, I guess, at the St. Francis game. They said they couldn't see the far sideline at times because of the fog right over there. So this isn't, like we said, we wonder what it was going to be over at the level of the street. Yeah. Obviously, it was something that they dealt with over at St. Francis.
Well, when our guys left from here to go broadcast that game, and there's a handoff to Harry, and he's got maybe a yard. When our guys left, I said, you're a little bit closer to the lake. So.
Oh, yeah, much different.
Like when you and I, the last game you and I did over there was the St. Francis St. Joe's game. If you looked behind us, you could see the waves on Lake Erie.
Yep, you're right.
And I was saying good luck because it was pouring here, and I thought, well, if it's pouring here, chances are it's pouring there, and it was. 2nd down. And they'll just hand it off to Harry one more time, and he's still running hard, and he's out to about the 30-yard line. Kamari Cook down on the turf now. He's slow to get up.
Again, while we get a moment, want to just throw a special shout-out to our cameraman who's down on the field, Mario Hall. You see some of these shots, these up-close shots have been all him, and he's been doing it all season long, and just a tremendous asset and a tremendous addition to the staff here at Western New York Athletics. But unfortunately, he lost his grandmother today, and just my thoughts, our prayers, emotions, everything go with him. He's a part of our family. He's a part of our friends, our inner circle, whatever you want to say it, right? So many different ways we can say it, but right now he's got our thoughts and prayers. Just an amazing young man he really is, and just want him to let him know that we're thinking about him as he lost his grandmother today.
Yes, we are thinking of you, Mario, and you do a tremendous job.
And the fact that he's here.
Yeah, that's...
You know what I mean? Like, he wanted to be here. He felt he needed to be here. And he's here for every one of these teams that have been out here to give them their moment out here, to give them that close-up, to do what he can, because he did not have to be here. Not in the least. And the fact that he is, to me, is just absolutely amazing.
I concur. Hats off to Mario.
We don't talk about it, enough. Just the work that was put in to make all this happen. We don't do this whole thing without Frank Wolf, right? We don't do this whole thing without Francis Beck. We don't do this whole thing without Tim Gardner, right? We don't do this thing without Heidi Gunther right now. There are just so many people that we really need to thank that what's done, because they truly are amazing people behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know the time and the effort that's put into a lot of this.
Well, you won't do it, but I will. We also have to thank you as the pass is completed to Bauer, because you continue to do and have always done yeoman's work for Western New York athletics. So I tip my cap to you.
Thank you,
I know
Stu.
you're too modest to say that, but you deserve tons of credit. And it's first down for Lancaster. And the
we got this ear and we got this voice in our heads here and things, right?
Yes. Yes. And there's a pass on the far side, complete to Bauer, and he's tackled immediately. And I think he actually lost a yard or two, maybe even 3.
That's just this team speed. You know what I mean? Just did you see how quickly
Yes.
he closed on the ball right there? It just shows how fast these players really are from Bennett. And listen, their mission from the beginning of this season, in my eyes, was to get to the state championship and this time try to take it home. And this had to be the first step in the process. And they really have come out and really shown how good of a team they really are today.
The handoff goes to Harry, and he spun down at about the 41-yard line.
We could talk about Harry a little bit, too. When they put it, can you do me a favor, Tim? Can you put the stats up for a second?
Ruben Ochoa on that tackle. If we can find those stats.
So this is the one I want you to look at. Look at the rushing yards per attempt, right?
Yeah.
So that's Harry right there. So Harry's been right there still running the ball just to show some of the, things of how good of a running back he really is and the impact he's still having on this game.
He catches the pass, spins away from one tackler, still on his feet, and finally brought out of bounds by Noah McDuffie. Be another first down for Lancaster.
And again, another play by him right here that we're going to see. Nice swing pass right there.
Nice spin move. But then look at McDuffie hustle after him. He saw Harry spin away from him, and he pursued him and made the tackle.
But, here's a kid that could probably, play football at the next level, wrestle at the next level. There's so many things he can do because he's such a great athlete.
And there's another good run. That time, the ball is carried.
Got a chance to talk to him at Media Day too, Stu, and I think that what he would love to is he wants to play football, though, at the next level, and hopefully we're going to get a chance to see where he's going to make that happen because he is a special player.
Chris Gill on that last carry. Now they'll go back to Harry, finds a hole, finds some running room, and Goodman brings him down at the 27-yard line. So he prefers football to wrestling.
He said he really would like to play football at the next level. And I'm going to tell you, I believe character is really big. And we talk about this on our broadcast, too. The character of Micah Harry is just unbelievable. He is one of the most genuine, nice men that you really want to talk to. He really is just unbelievable what he brings to the table on top of his athletic ability.
Well, here goes Harry one more time, and he's brought down at the 25. Damari Clemens on the tackle.
That character athlete award does mean a lot, and this is a true character athlete right there. We were talking to Luke here earlier, and one of the things Luke came in after the Lancaster game, he had actually made a comment and said, boy, Dad, I can't believe how much of a nice guy Micah Harry is. This is after a loss and a kid like that, and just shows, he says that out there in the field, the impact that he really has here in Western New York.
Harry will get the ball. Oh, no, that was Stolt who kept it. He faked it, and Stolt gets it down to about the 20-yard line. And that should be enough for a Lancaster first down, and it is. We're under 3 minutes to play in the Class AA championship game. Bennett in complete control of this one, leading Lancaster 36-10. Lancaster trying to get into the end zone. First play of the game, Micah Harry returned the kickoff for a touchdown, but the Legends haven't seen the end zone since. And we got whistles. And a timeout is taken by Bennett. And we'll take a timeout. 2:28 to play in the fourth quarter. It is Bennett 36, Lancaster 10. You're watching high school football on Western New York Athletics.
The third and final timeout to have for the Tigers.
As you see Coach McDuffie in the huddle around his Bennett team, I'm certain Bennett would really like to hold Lancaster out of the end zone except for one special teams play. And no doubt Lancaster desperately wants to get in that end zone. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line of Bennett for the Legends. Swing pass to Harry, caught at the 20, 15, and down at the 12-yard line.
Looked like he slipped right at the end of there is what it looked like.
Yeah, I thought so too. As the clock continues to tick away, we're approaching 2 minutes to go in the game. Step one for Bennett and what they hope is another journey back to the Carrier Dome. And there's a handoff to Harry, and he's stopped. Looked like he might have lost a yard. Bennett losing to Carmel in the championship game last year. And as Tom mentioned, Carmel's still very much alive in the playoffs. And a reminder once again, next weekend, it's the Far West Regionals in the Rochester area. And we'll have
Brockport, Batavia, and the University of Rochester all hosting.
The pass is intended for Cologne. It's incomplete, a little bit over his fingertips, I guess you'd say. That's Fawver Stadium at the University of Rochester. They've played Far West Region. I know because I shot games for Channel 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would always go there, try to get there early, get a good parking spot, and hope the weather was good. Because in November, you just never know.
Listen,
look right out here.
And they're talking, we're going to be in the 30s the next couple days, and we're going to be talking about possible snow showers. So, yeah, absolutely.
And there's a pass to the near side, caught by Bauer, and he's blasted down at about the 8 or 9 yard line. Took a big hit.
And if you remember, Stu, tomorrow would be the day we show up here at the field, and this entire field was covered with snow, right?
Yes, I do remember
that. Was Saturday we came because it was Friday and Saturday games, and there were people out there with shovels trying to clear that field off to get it ready.
I do remember that. And there's the handoff, and no room to run for Harry. And he'll get a hand up from one of his teammates. And now we're under a minute remaining in the game. Bennett seconds away from another trip to the Far West Regionals. They'll keep handing it. Oh, no, Stolt at the 5, and he's kept short of the end zone by Bennett. Nice little fake there by Stolt. Got me pretty good on the handoff to Harry. Took it down himself. As that clock continues to tick, under 30 seconds, will Lancaster get into the end zone here? They'll hand that one off to Harry, and he's stuffed and shoved back by Bennett. So the Tigers said, no, we don't want that to happen. We've had enough of that. And now the final seconds will tick away. Isaiah Pierce-Brown made the tackle for Bennett. And timeout taken by Lancaster. They want one more crack at the end zone. So Eric Rupp takes a timeout. And you can see the emotion already overwhelming some of the Lancaster players. Very difficult moments. And I'm sure they want one more crack at the end zone.
Any senior playing their last game, it's always emotional. I don't care what the sport is, right? I don't care what the moment is. It's always going to be emotional because it's the finality. Because a lot of these players will never put pads on again, right? Or never put their spikes on again, or never put their swim trunks on again, or never, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter what the sport is. We'll go up and down. It's the end right there, and I may never do it again. And those emotions come out when a lot of those players out in those fields know it. Whether it's also male, female, I don't care what it is.
Doesn't matter.
Yep.
It takes a long time to get the perspective of don't be sad because it ended, be happy because you experienced it. That's an older person's vision because the heartbreak is real.
Well, it's just tough in that moment, right, to think like that.
4th and goal, and the pass is off the hands of Harry. Incomplete. And the clock shows 0. And that will do it. The Bennett Tigers with an impressive 36-10 win over Lancaster. So congratulations to Bennett as you see a handshake between Damari Clemens and a Lancaster player at the 5-yard line. I believe that was Cologne. And now you'll see the team shake hands here at midfield. Just a great effort by Bennett, great effort by Lancaster, but Bennett was just the better team tonight, Tom.
Yeah, it really was. You know what I mean? But a great weekend of football, no
Yes.
doubt about it. And now we become, like we said, cheerleaders to see what goes on the rest of the way.
So Bennett beats Lancaster 36-10. The 5 winners from yesterday and today will head to the Far West Regionals in the Rochester area next weekend. A reminder, coming up next on Western New York Athletics, our post-game show crew, Francis Beck, Tim Chiefa, Jim Craig, and Paul Catrona will wrap up this game and the entire weekend. Want to thank all of you for listening and watching. And for Tom Prince, I'm Stu Boyer. Have a good night, everybody.
We'd now like to direct your attention to midfield as we prepare for our presentation of awards.
Live from Highmark Stadium, it is the Section 6 Class AA post-game show. The Bennett Tigers run continues. 36-10 winners over Lancaster as they win the Section 6 Class AA title for the second year in a row. I'm Francis Beck. Alongside me, Tim Chifa, Jim Craig, Paul Catrona, and these 5 fantastic games at Highmark Stadium have come to an end. And no surprise here, it was the Bennett Tigers taking care of business in this one, and they move on. The defending state finalist last year is still alive and still has a chance to go and win it, go back to the Curie Dome and win it. Guys, first thoughts from this one?
Best and most athletic defense that I've seen this year by far. Just at every level, from the tackles to the linebackers to the defensive backs, they have as athletic of players that I've seen together that I can remember, at least in a very long time. They have. I couldn't find a weak spot, and then I was kind of trying to do that in the second half. Like if I was coaching against them, where would I go? There ain't many options. There's really not many options. They are fantastic. They swarm the ball. They're well coached, and I'm really looking forward to the next couple of weeks.
And Tim, all the things that you said about Bennett were just the essence of. They were the better team out there. They proved it on the field. Nothing that happens off the field would ever affect what they did on the field tonight. And I have a special thing in my heart for Lancaster, who never, ever quit. They were out of that game probably in the middle of the third quarter. They battled every inch of the way.
They're probably the second best team in Western New York. It's
Some would say first.
Well,
not anymore.
No.
Lancaster.
Lancaster. But
well, some people in St. Francis might disagree with you there.
Well, I said might be. But they're, they just ran into a buzzsaw.
Yeah, I thought I just wrote down something. I said, "Hail to the King." They are that. They came in. They had a mission. They faced adversity, and they are now the king. They beat a team that is probably the second or third best team in Western New York.
But there's a gap.
So, but there's talent level gap.
Yeah.
So just hail to the king. They deserve it.
Absolutely.
They deserve every bit of praise we can come up with.
Yeah, real quick, we did know that St. Francis won pretty big against Canisius in the Monsieur Martin Championship game. We also broadcasted that on Western New York Athletics. But, we saw Bennett with this one in here. This thought, from the very first drive till the end, this thought kind of played in my head, I was talking with some guys, and I was like, what about Jaden Lewis this year? And I'm like, I don't know about him. I saw him here. Wow. I mean,
maybe he heard that.
I think maybe he heard me.
Shut you up a little bit, maybe.
I'm going to say something controversial. So Western New York, brace yourselves. Everybody brace yourselves. I think Jaden Lewis may have won the Connolly Cup tonight. He played fantastic. Performance of the weekend so far, really impressive.
Yeah, I don't know if I go that far, but he was incredible. He, like I said during the halftime show, he's as fast of a player that I can remember. The way he turns a corner. It was fourth and forever on that touchdown in the third quarter that basically broke open the game.
And it was after, they picked 2 delay of game penalties?
Exactly. I think it was fourth and
3 in a row.
18. And just throw it up to your D1 prospect and let him go make a play. And it's a nice luxury to have. But, I got to give, Davis credit. He played a really good game. He doesn't get all the credit that the line gets and that everyone else gets, but he's a good quarterback, and he didn't throw the ball a ton, but the ones that he did, he made some really good passes. He really did.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Jaden Lewis for last year, and I think I might have even mentioned it on one of our shows, that last year he just jumped out of me. Right out at me, and I couldn't figure out what it was. He was basically a defensive guy, and all of you have talked about his performance last year going on to the state finals. And the only thing I can think about in this game is big players come at the biggest moments. Yeah. They perform at the biggest moments, and he did tonight, that's for sure.
It's so funny you said that, because I've always had anybody I talk to about sports, I always say big players show up big in big games. He showed up huge. And if they really show up huge, I go, then huge arrives.
And so
that's
did,
exactly
so
what
did,
we
so did
witnessed.
Perry. And so did Perry, because you don't get the the stats that Perry gets, but if you watch the offense, you can tell where the ball is going as soon as where he's lined up.
The other way.
Well, no, from Bennett's standpoint,
Yes,
he's
that's
just he blows up the line.
I'm saying Lancaster. Where's the ball
exactly.
The other way.
Right.
You had to know where he was, and you wanted to move away from him. You didn't want to run into him.
But to piggyback on what you said, the stars showed up when they had to.
I also thought, so I'm a little bit older. Even Jim is a little bit older. We might have known Martin and Lewis, right? The comedy team, right? Now we got Thomas and Lewis. These guys are great. Those guys were great comedians. These guys are great football players.
I'm glad you mentioned Jameer Thomas. He snuck up on everybody today, not only on offense but on
great
defense.
football players.
He was terrific today.
So was Noah McDuffie, the sophomore, had a fantastic game on both sides of the ball. He was all over the place defensively. So imagine that, a McDuffie, a good football player in this area. I've never heard of that before. So.
Yeah, it's in the blood.
Yeah.
All right, real quick before we wrap up, final thoughts overall from these 5 games this weekend. Randolph, Lackawanna, Jamestown, Iroquois, Bennett, all sectional titles. They move on to Rochester. Just give me one thought from this weekend, Paul.
Athleticism, speed. Those teams that won. The best athletes, the best speed.
I think the desire and the hard work put in, whether they were winning or they were losing.
5 fantastic defensive teams. They some of them are underrated, but if you look at the games they won throughout the entire season, there's 2 or 3 teams where teams haven't even got the 20 points on these guys yet. So it's 5 very good teams repping this area to move on, and you're going to have to be a pretty good team to beat these guys.
All right, that will do it for our coverage from Highmark Stadium this weekend. I want to thank my panel, Paul Catrona, Jim Craig, Tim Chifa, and the entire Western New York Athletics team, especially our Tim Gardner, who put together these amazing graphics. I don't know if you saw some of our games. We had about 8 different cameras going. Of course, Tom Prince on air and behind the scenes. Heidi Gunther, who's helping us producing. Frank Wolf, who was going around with the walkie-talkie and I think probably touched every inch of this stadium here. Mario was great on the sidelines as well, but just a fantastic weekend all around. Frank threw me off there. He likes to do that.
Tim does a great job.
Yeah.
Stu standing behind him. I think that's
Stu did a
everybody in
great
this
job.
room.
Yeah, Stu, Jack, I see in here. Joe Kraus did a great job. Mark Johnson. We had Tim Morozak. I'm trying to think if I missed anybody. I forget if I do. If I did miss anybody. We had our Jamestown crew up here. They helped out with that game at Canisius as well and some other events. But this will wrap it up for our coverage this weekend at Highmark Stadium. But tomorrow we're going to have the Monsignor Martin B Championship between Timon and St. Mary's. That'll be at 1 o'clock at St. Joe's. We're also going to be unveiling the Trench Trophy finalists as well this weekend. And in a couple days, the Connolly Cup finalists. So a lot in store. And then next weekend, of course, tune in the NFHS Network. All 5 games on there for the Far West Regionals. I think that's all I have to say. So for everyone.
I want to say one thing. It's football, baby.
Yes, it is. It's playoff football.
It's great football.
All right, so for everybody here at Western New York Athletics, thank you for tuning in this weekend, and keep on the eye for more high school football coverage.